He finally realized why Yi-Mo could survive in the void fissure. Not only was his body refinement in king state, but his power was no weaker than him. Yi-Mo was only truth realization state level 1 and he was this strong. He finally realized why Yi-Mo could survive in the void fissure. Not only was his body refinement in king state, but his power was no weaker than him. Yi-Mo was only truth realization state level 1 and he was this strong. Thinking about Yi-Mo's strike before, Di Xueming was disappointed to realize that if he fought with Yi-Mo he probably was no match for him. Di Xueming didn't know that this wasn't all of his means, at most 1/3. Although they could move now, it was impossible to release their magic artifact as the region Yi-Mo broke open was too little. Suo Anshan immediately noticed his domain being opened. The reason he hasn't used a lethal blow was as Yi-Mo thought, he wanted Yi-Mo alive and then torture him slowly. Although Yi-Mo wasn't able to knock away his domain, but just being able to break free from his domain was very substantial. Just when Suo Anshan wanted to use other means, he suddenly saw a dark green shadow fly past in the dark red space. Just when it was about to leave, it was stopped by a windblade whirlpool and it began to struggle. Void Life Force Marrow. Di Xueming and Suo Anshan called out at the same time. Void Life Force Marrow could be the most valuable spirit item Yi-Mo had seen other than bitter bamboo. But of course comparing bitter bamboo with Void Life Force Marrow was lowering bitter bamboo's status. Void Life Force Marrow wasn't worth 1/1000th of bitter bamboo. Void Life Force Marrow grew in the void. The deeper the color, the more precious it was. This Void Life Force Marrow was green. Its value was immeasurable. Ordinary cultivators who ate Void Life Force Marrow could live 100,000 years longer. Of course there was no cultivator dumb enough to eat it straight away. They would usually concoct it into pills. The other use of it was to truly grow flesh from bones. Most spirit herbs in the world could only save someone with an essence spirit left, but the Void Life Force Marrow could save someone who didn't have an essence spirit. It could allow someone to grow a new essence spirit and recover his past memories and abilities. But only Void Life Force Marrow that reaches purple color can do this. Seeing this, Yi-Mo immediately thought of Nai Shuang. But Yi-Mo also realized that it was impossible for him to get it as Suo Anshan already saw it. He didn't even know if he could escape from Suo Anshan, much less rob this Void Life Force Marrow. Seeing the Void Life Force Marrow, Suo Anshan's eyes lit up. He thought of his son, if there was this he might be saved. Its quality was a little low but it was better than nothing. Plus, it was such a large piece. Suo Anshan glanced at Yi-Mo and Di Xueming, whom he trapped and didn't go up to take the Void Life Force Marrow. He shot out tens of faint blue flames surrounding the 12 lightning beads. This meant that even if Yi-Mo and Di Xueming broke free from Suo Anshan's domain and 12 lightning beads, they wouldn't be able to escape the blue flames. Seeing this, Di Xueming's face looked pale and he murmured, "Prison of Heaven Flame, I forgot this bastard had Li-Ming Flame." Yi-Mo's eyes narrowed. Prison of Heaven Flame clearly was just a way of using Heaven Flame trapping someone inside. There was no other way of escape other than charging through the Heaven Flame. But the Heaven Flame was blue color that would be suicide. Of course Yi-Mo wasn't afraid of this, he had a way to escape. It was simple, burn open the fire with the more higher caliber Mist Lotus Heart Fire. The Heaven Flame prison was powerful but it was just a method of using Heaven Flame, it was much weaker than his Heaven Flame 9 Suns. But he couldn't use the Heaven Flame 9 Suns well enough. If he could release 3 purple suns, Suo Anshan could only wait to be melted. Yi-Mo rejoiced that his Heaven Flame was also blue color and much higher ranked than Suo Anshan's flame, otherwise he would be in trouble. If he was willing, he could also use Mist Lotus Heart Fire to trap someone, but he felt pity he could only at most take Suo Anshan's 12 lightning orbs after breaking free of his domain. He wouldn't have the time to take Suo Anshan's Heaven Flame as he would be back already. What do we do? Di Xueming was almost in despair seeing the Heaven Flame prison. Yi-Mo didn't answer Di Xueming, he didn't want Suo Anshan to be wary of him. Hearing this, Suo Anshan sneered and left for the Void Life Force Marrow without even looking at Yi-Mo and Di Xueming. Yi-Mo sound transmissioned to Di Xueming Old Black, "Follow me closely. We'll run now." Di Shueming really wanted to ask where could they run to in the Heaven Flame prison, but he knew regardless they would die. Instead of being captured and tortured, he might as well die to the Heaven Flame, so he smiled bitterly. Let's break free from his domain and the 12 lightning orbs first. But Di Shueming stopped. He suddenly felt Yimo's power rise and at the same time expanded his domain out that was many times stronger than before. He didn't expect Yimo was this powerful, daring to conserve power in front of Suo Anshan. At the same time, Yimo released Illusion Cloud Domain Shatter Strike again. The purple ray extended 100 meters long and sliced open a way out. Crack! They could leave now. Di Shueming rejoiced and took back his seal, but at the same time he remembered the 12 lightning beads. They only broke open the first barricade, the simplest one. But then, he immediately saw Yimo charge towards the 12 lightning beads as though he wanted to steal it. His crazy. Di Shueming murmured and looked at Yimo. Suo Anshan instantly noticed his domain being broken, but he didn't even look at Yimo. He was prepared that Yimo was able to break open his domain. But he believed that no matter how strong Yimo was, a mere truth realization state level 1 wasn't able to break free from the 12 lightning orbs. Di Shueming soon found that Yimo already grabbed one of the lightning orbs. All of the lightning arcs on the surface instantly went inside Yimo's body. What shook him even more was that it disappeared and Yimo was completely fine. Di Shueming soon found that Yimo already grabbed one of the lightning orbs. All of the lightning arcs on the surface instantly went inside Yimo's body. What shook him even more was that it disappeared and Yimo was completely fine. How does he do it? Di Shueming murmured to himself. These lightning orbs have already formed a formation. Each orb was equivalent to a formation flag. These formation flag equivalents were extremely powerful and it wasn't possible to grab it just with power. Because if you grabbed one, you wouldn't be just grabbing one lightning orb, you would be all 12 lightning orbs. No matter how powerful you were, you can't grab one lightning orb and make the other ones not attack you. The only possibility was that the person doing this was a formation Grand Master, or even higher. Plus, even a formation Grand Master wouldn't be able to defend against the lightning source attack from one of the orbs. There was so much lightning circulating the surface of the orbs. Yet, Yimo did it. Before Di Shueming could react, Yimo took away all the other 11 lighting orbs into the golden page world and locked them with a simple restriction. How dare you? Suo Anshan was furious. If it wasn't that he already controlled the Void Life Force Marrow, he would be coming over to teach Yimo a lesson. The Void Life Force Marrow wasn't so easily controlled, it had its own will and one mistake, it would disappear into the void. So, he didn't dare to leave before completely capturing it. The main thing was that he believed even if Yimo broke free from his domain and took his 12 lightning orbs, he wouldn't be able to escape from the Heaven Flame prison. Even a powerful cultivator would need a few days or even a month to break free. He only needed about half a minute and he would be able to completely control the Void Life Force Marrow and free himself to deal with these insolent brats. Quickly go, Suo Anshan is about to control the Void Life Force Marrow. Di Shueming suddenly stopped and his face was full of despair. He forgot about the Heaven Flame prison due to Yimo's magnificent show. He immediately realized that they still weren't able to break free. Yimo was watching Suo Anshan the whole time. Seeing that Suo Anshan didn't come over immediately, Yimo sneered that old thing still needs a few seconds, we have enough time. Then, Yimo waved out a blue flame with his hands. The flame burned onto the Heaven Flame that stopped them. Blue Mist Lotus Heartfire. Di Shueming looked at this in shock. Yimo's Heaven Flame clashed with the Heaven Flame prison, creating a sizzling sound. 3 seconds later, they burned a huge crack in the Heaven Flame prison. Before Di Shueming could say anything, Yimo said let's go. Di Shueming didn't need Yimo to tell him now, the two sped up and immediately disappeared. Even in the void fissure they raised their speed to the extreme. Even being swooped away by void dangers was better than falling into the hands of Suo Anshan. The instant the two escape, Suo Anshan knew and he was so angry he almost spat blood. I'm going to tear you apart. Suo Anshan put away the Void Life Force Marrow but wasn't happy at all. He was angry to the extreme. The two insects ran and that truth realization state level 1 insect took his 12 lightning orbs. Suo Anshan put away his heaven flame, but there was no sign of Yi Mo and Di Shueming in his spirit sense. The Void Fisher limited spirit sense greatly, and even without the limit, he wouldn't be able to sense them after this long. But looking at the direction they ran, Suo Anshan sneered. These two were too inexperienced. He had already marked the 12 lightning orbs with his spirit sense. No matter how far they were, he could sense Yi Mo's direction based on it. No one could remove his spirit sense mark in such a short time. Even the most powerful cultivator would need at least a day, so he wasn't worried that Yi Mo got away at all. But when he extended his will, his face changed dramatically. He found that he couldn't sense the direction of his 12 lightning orbs at all. While running, Di Shueming was still shook at Yi Mo's endless means and his bravery to steal the 12 lightning orbs. Just how much balls did Yi Mo have? After a few thousand kilometers, Di Shueming said desperately to Yi Mo, quickly throw those 12 lightning orbs away. I know it's good, but it's marked with Suo Anshan's print. He might be able to chase up to us based on that. Yi Mo smiled. Even if he comes, I won't throw it away. If Brother Di is worried, you can leave first. Di Shueming's face sunk. Who do you think I am? Even you don't fear that Suo Anshan. I'm an immortal ascension cultivator. How can I be afraid? Yi Mo didn't expose Di Shueming, but regardless he was good enough to be a friend. What shook Di Shueming was that they had been running for nearly 10 days, but there was still no sign of Suo Anshan. This isn't right. Di Shueming murmured to himself, and then he said, Yi Mo, where did you put the lightning orbs at? There's no reason that Suo Anshan didn't chase up. Take it out and see. Of course Yi Mo wasn't going to take it out. If he took it out now, it was telling Suo Anshan where they were. So he shook his head without hesitation. Seeing this, Di Shueming didn't say anything. After all, they just met for a short time. Where is this place? Yi Mo looked at the densely clustered space ripples and lines. Is this where I practice body refinement before? The center of a void storm is ahead. I've tried breaking through to disaster state before, but I failed many times. Di Shueming pointed at this place and said. Then Di Shueming sighed. Without high-level supplementary spirit herb, I'm probably stuck in monarch state. I've used up the spirit herb I had before. I don't even have a level 1 spirit herb now. Supplementary spirit herb? Yi Mo asked in confusion. He had never used some spirit herb from 1/6. Seeing this, Di Shueming asked with more confusion. Body refinement needs large amounts of supplementary spirit herb. Did you reach king state without using spirit herb? If so, you probably would have died countless times. Yi Mo didn't suspect Di Shueming's words. The reason he recovered perfectly each time after sustaining such injuries was due to the 3-birth chant. I took some pills. Yi Mo could only say. Di Shueming nodded. Body refinement is actually completely different to cultivation. If possible, just use spirit herb pills directly. It's much better than using pills. Shu magic artifact, sword grass, blue blood are all great body refinement herbs. Of course, the best is high-level spirit beast blood. If there's a level 11 untransformed spirit beast, its blood would be the best. Yi Mo thought, what about the tens of drops of Kuan blood he got? Thinking about this, Yi Mo immediately asked, what about god beast blood? Di Shueming laughed. God beast, haha. That's of the legends. If you really have it, I'll only need 1 drop, no half a drop, and I can reach disaster state and you can reach monarch state without any problems. Then, Di Shueming looked at the jade bottle that suddenly appeared in Yi Mo's hands. Don't tell me you have god beast blood in the jade bottle. Then, Di Shueming looked at the jade bottle that suddenly appeared in Yi Mo's hands. Don't tell me you have god beast blood in the jade bottle. Yi Mo smiled and took out a smaller bottle dripping 1 drop inside and gave it to Di Shueming. You guessed it, this is god beast Kuan's blood. I'll give you 1 drop for you to reach disaster state. After dazing for a long time, Di Shueming took the bottle and sniffed it. Then, he looked at Yi Mo in shock. It really is god beast Kuan's blood. How can you get the blood of such a royal god beast? Yi Mo smiled. I'll be honest with you, that god beast Kuan is inside here too. Even Suo Anshan is probably not enough for a few casual claws from him. You need to be careful using its blood for body refinement. Di Shueming took a cold breath in. I find that the longer I stay with you the more I don't get you. You can even get God Beast Kuan's blood and steal 12 lightning orbs from Suo Anshan. I really don't know what you don't dare to do. Yimo smiled. Go practice body refinement, I will do so as well. We'll talk later, then you take me to the tunnel that can leave this place. Yimo threw Di Shueming a communication bead. Di Shueming took it and nodded seriously. Okay, after you reach 3 God states I will take you over. He knew that Yimo wasn't going to give up no matter what, so he might spirit artifact. Well, go help him. Then he said the God Beast blood should be used based on power. With our power we should only use half a drop, using more is a waste. But if you digest the blood, there won't be any marks. Even if God Beast Kuan stood before you, he wouldn't know. Okay, thank you. Yimo saluted with his fists and turned into the endless space lines. Seeing this, Di Shueming murmured, there's actually such person in the word, he can even get Kuan's blood but give it out casually. Di Shueming changed a direction and disappeared. He wanted to break through into disaster state immediately. Yimo was very fast and left this place. He came next to a space wind blade whirlpool. He didn't jump in immediately. He came here not to body refinement but to spirit control the 12 lightning orbs. He needed to go into the golden page world to do that, and it wasn't convenient to stay with Di Shueming. Yimo just into the space wind blade whirlpool and went straight into the golden page world. In the golden page world, Yimo picked up the 12 lightning beads. The 12 lightning orbs were quickly thrown into the golden page world and they still had lightning circulating around them. In order to quickly spirit control these 12 orbs, Yimo spat out essence blood. After the orbs were immersed in Yimo's essence blood, they were quickly spirit controlled. As Yimo kept spirit controlling more lightning orbs, the lightning arcs gradually disappeared from the surface of the lightning orbs. The 12 lightning orbs returned to long and sized and their color went from a dull blue to an aqua color. The 12 beads were very pretty. After spirit controlling them, Yimo realized that they weren't called lightning orbs but lightning sea magical orbs. There were supposed to be 36 orbs altogether and Suo Anshan only got 12. If there were 24 orbs, its power would increase countless folds, and when all 36 were gathered, there would be heaven-shattering power. This is a good thing indeed. Yimo sighed after spirit controlling these 12 orbs. He put the lightning sea magical orbs away. No matter if he could find the remaining 24, he was planning to give these 12 to Yimo as a present. As soon as Yimo was done, Suo Anshan, who was still searching for Yimo, and Di Shueming sapped blood in the air. This was because he was so angry that Yimo actually spirit controlled his 12 LSM. How could he tolerate such insult? But he had to. Yimo wasn't going to care about what Suo Anshan felt. That had nothing to do with him. He came out of the golden page world now and left this windblade whirlpool. It could help him reach king state, but it wasn't enough for him to reach monarch state. Yimo wanted to go to the center of the space storm. He wanted to test if the Kuan blood really had that much benefit for body refinement. In the void fissure, there were countless space storms. The smaller ones were space string whirlpools, the larger ones were space sand and line whirlpools mixed together. There were some space sand, wind blades, chaos flow, and fissures mixed together. Ordinary cultivators wouldn't even be able to last long even if they were truth realization state peak stage there. Yimo found a middle-grade space storm and took out a drop of Kuan blade and ate it. He had a lot of it, so he didn't need to listen to Di Shueming. He just ate one and had decided that he would go into this golden page world immediately if there was any danger. As soon as he drank it, Yimo felt his organs were going to be torn apart. Moments later, his skin went red. Yimo wanted to cut himself with a sword right now. Yimo was shook and jumped into the storm. He finally realized why Di Shueming told him to use half. This terrifying explosive power would have torn his organs apart if he wasn't king state body refinement. One could see that the Kuan beast would be fine as long as he didn't get caught in the scariest space disposition. Yimo's armor and clothes were instantly torn apart when he came into the storm. The countless wind blades, sand, and lines ravaged on his body. Yimo felt that the instant his skin was torn, they grew back out again rapidly. Yimo finally understood the use of the Kuan blood and didn't dare to waste time at all. He used the 3 birth chant and 3 God body refinement chant together. In a short while, he reached a state of self-unawareness. With the help of the Kuan blood, his skin and every part of his bone and muscle were being reorganized. 3 days later, there was gurgling sounds when his cultivation essence flowed. A week later, Yimo's cultivation essence stored to a breaking point and finally exploded in his body. Then in a heavy thud, the rustling sound broke the stopping barrier and cultivation essence flowed freely. Yimo felt easy, and that instant the scorching and tearing sensation disappeared. The space storm was like a tickle to him now. Yimo howled. He knew that he not only reached the monarch state of the 3 God states, and he also broke through to truth realization state level 2. This was the first time he broke through without using time formation disk. Truth realization state level 2 and monarch state body refinement. Yimo knew that even in the Black Rock City, his power was ranked ahead. After changing a set of clothes, Yimo casually walked around the center of the space storm. In a short time, he walked everywhere in this storm that would have easily killed him before. Now, Yimo felt his power. He exclaimed, "This void fissure was indeed an extremely good place for body refinement." Yimo was still in disbelief at the power of the Kuan blood, making him reach monarch state in 10 days. Yimo didn't contact Di Shueming. He didn't know if he reached disaster state now, but he needed to reach that state. The tunnel of escape Di Shueming told him about was extremely dangerous. He had to bring his body refinement to the extreme. Black Rock City. There were tens of truth realization state peak stage cultivators at the door. Suo Anshan's face was sullen. The 2 beautiful women next to him were sobbing. Clearly the void life force Morrow wasn't high level enough and thus was useless. "Where is Vice City Lord Shah?" Suo Anshan asked coldly. The younger beautiful woman behind Suo Anshan bowed and said in a sad and soft voice, "Shatar went into the void fissure alone to get revenge for Chuan." The younger beautiful woman behind Suo Anshan bowed and said in a sad and soft voice, "Shatar went into the void fissure alone to get revenge for Chuan." Swan Anshan sneered but said to the tens of truth realization state peak stage cultivators here, "Even if I flip over this void region, I'm going to find that insect." Yimo appeared in an even more violent space storm center. He wanted to reach disaster state here, but he knew that it wouldn't be so easy. He wasn't sure how much time he would need, but he wasn't sure if someone would come over while he was cultivating. In order to avoid being ambushed, Yimo spent a day to set up a level 9 Space 9 Illusions attack formation. This formation was based on his understanding of the space seal at Sand River and his illusion cloud. Other than him, no formation Grand Master would be able to see through it quickly. This attack formation was hidden into the void. He learnt this from the ice god Forbidden Grounds. Yimo believed that there wouldn't be a lot of formation Grand Master who knew this. The only problem was Spirit Source, but this was the center of the space storm. There was very dense Spirit Kai. Yimo set up tens of extreme-grade Spirit Stones and then the formation was erected. However, after reaching Monarch State, Yimo found that he could defend against the space storm easily. Was he already developing resistance? Yimo was speechless. He only used 1 drop of Kuan blood and now there was resistance. So when 1 drop didn't work, he immediately ate a second drop. After 4 drops, Yimo felt he was still at the tertiary stage of monarch state. Being used to the speed of cultivation, Yimo couldn't tolerate such slow speed, so he ate 10 drops at once. With this, Yimo immediately felt that terrifying scorching heat in his body. Strange spirit power ran rampant in his body. It was as though next moment, he would turn to dust. It was useful. Yimo was happy and used 3 birth chant as well as 3 God body refinement chant. At the same time, he started moving towards the center of the whirlpool. As he used his cultivation method, the scorching sensation was weakening and his skin was repairing faster. The meridians were being reorganized again and again. Even his blood started to change. It flowed very fast, and even after loss of blood, his wounds would immediately heal instantly without the use of pills or cultivation method. The space storm now was like a soft breeze on his body. It couldn't bring about any more gashes on his body. Yimo knew that he barely reached disaster state primary stage now. But he also knew that even if he used up all his Kuan blood, he wouldn't be able to reach God state. He might have a chance if we went into Space Disposition River, but Yi Mo wasn't going to do this. He can risk his life for cultivation, but he won't go suicide. In those places, he might not even get the chance to enter the Golden Page world. Unless he was Truth Realization State peak stage, then he would try. It was time to look for Di Shueming and let him take him to the tunnel that he could leave through. As soon as Yi Mo got out of the space whirlpool, he saw there was a man waiting outside. He was extremely handsome, seeming very heroic and brave. Just with his looks, he would have countless women fall for him. If this person cared a little more about the way he dressed, he would definitely get more attention. This man had such a heroic and manly look, but he wore a red flowery robe. Thus, his good looks were turned wrong with this incoherent dress. Yi Mo wasn't shook at this person's looks, but how he stayed outside for so long. He only noticed when he came out. This person was also Truth Realization State peak stage. If this person ambushed him when he came up, he would be injured. But of course, this was if he didn't set up the attack formation. Thinking about this, Yi Mo rejoiced for setting up the attack formation. He wasn't afraid at all if this person attacked. He really couldn't think he was in a place no one could find. He had only been here for a short while some cultivators were here for a few thousand years. The places he thought were obscure probably weren't to those cultivators. Seeing Yi Mo come out of the space storm safely, this cultivator was a little shook but nodded. Although your Truth Realization State level 1, your body refinement is at disaster state. This is very amazing. And you escaped from Suo Anshan and took his 12 lightning orbs. Outstanding. Yi Mo looked calm, but he wasn't calm on the inside. Who was this person? How did he know? He didn't think Suo Anshan would tell everyone he lost his 12 lightning orbs. Either this person was very close to Suo Anshan or he was watching Suo Anshan's every move. Seeing that Yi Mo was calm but wary, the handsome man smiled. Don't worry, I have no ill will. My name is Yang Feijing, of course I have another name Shatar. Yi Mo was shook, he knew Shatar, the Vice City Lord of Black Rock City. Seeing Yi Mo's bewildered expression, he laughed at himself. Do you think it's strange I have two names? But if you stayed at Black Rock City for a long time perhaps you would know. It was probably Di Shueming who told you my name, right? Perhaps he would say I'm being cheated on, right? Yi Mo didn't expect this Shatar to be this blatant about this. But Yi Mo didn't know what Shatar meant. Clearly, he had conflict with Suo Anshan, so he saluted with his fists. I'm Yi Mo, Greet City Lord Sha, how do you know I'm here? Shatar laughed. I don't know you're here, but I know Di Shueming would escape here because this is the place he thinks is the safest. I've known what he thought 100 years ago. After I knew you left with Di Shueming, I came here to wait for you. Hearing this, Yi Mo's heart sunk. If Shatar knew Di Shueming would come here, what about Suo Anshan? Yi Mo scanned with spirit sense immediately. Shatar smiled again. Brother, you don't worry, only I know Di Shueming is here. I care about those friends kicked out of the Black Rock City by Suo Anshan, so I care about Di Shueming too. Other people wouldn't care about it. Yi Mo immediately knew what Shatar meant. Shatar's words showed that one day he wanted to join up with Di Shueming and them. So, he knew a lot about Di Shueming, but Di Shueming didn't know it at all. Shatar also meant that he might be asking to form an alliance. He and Di Shueming wouldn't be able to reject it because they wouldn't be able to escape based on his knowledge of Di Shueming. Yi Mo sneered in his heart. Even though it was good to attack Suo Anshan together, he didn't like being threatened like this. Shatar said Di Shueming is a good man. That bitch tried to seduce him but he ignored her. Yi Mo frowned. He wasn't interested in this drama, so he said coldly, City Lord Sha, if there's something you want to say then say it. I'm busy, I don't have time to waste here. Shatar wasn't angry at all. He smiled. I admire you greatly for being able to escape Suo Anshan. Since you've fought with him, I supposed you know that you have no opportunity facing him. My purpose for finding you is simple. I want to join forces with you. Yi Mo sneered. City Lord Sha, I'm a mere Truth Realization State primary stage cultivator. It was lucky that I escaped from Suo Anshan. You wouldn't think I can fight him head on, right? Shatar smiled. Of course I don't, but you're the most powerful truth realization state primary stage I've ever seen. If we join forces, I only want half of the things inside his storage ring. By the way, do you know how many good things there are in Suo Anshan's storage ring? Half of the immortal ascension cultivator's things are in his possession. With all the rare ores he had found all these years, you wouldn't even dare to imagine how wealthy he is. Yi Mo had really never thought of this, and now that Shatar said this he thought. Clearly, those cultivators in the Void Fissure were all truth realization state cultivators and were the elite of each cultivation realm. They clearly had the best things. If only 10% fell into Suo Anshan's hands and he took half of that, it would be as wealthy as a state, much less half. Yi Mo had really never thought of this, and now that Shatar said this he thought. Clearly, those cultivators in the Void Fissure were all truth realization state cultivators and were the elite of each cultivation realm. They clearly had the best things. If only 10% fell into Suo Anshan's hands and he took half of that, it would be as wealthy as a state, much less half. Seeing that Yi Mo was interested, Shatar said, plus, you think Suo Anshan really can't capture you? There are countless truth realization state cultivators in the city. If they were really going to search this entire place, one day you and Di Shueming would be caught. Yi Mo didn't argue with this. He knew Shatar was right, so he asked coldly, I really want to know, how did you know my location and how did you find me so accurately? Shatar smiled and suddenly waved his hand. An ore fell into his hand and he threw it to Yi Mo. Because I have this. As soon as Yi Mo got it, he saw a surveillance formation inside. This formation restriction is very hidden, and if he didn't look closely, he wouldn't be able to see it at all. The ore was so low level, who would go check it in the Void Fissure? As soon as he got here, there was a surveillance formation. Yi Mo thought about how Shatar knew he took Suo Anshan's 12 lightning orbs and was immediately shook. He didn't. Seeing Yi Mo's shocked face, Shatar smiled. You're right, in these few centuries, I've set up countless surveillance ores in this Void Fissure. They let me know anything that happens in this void. Only I can pick it up and see the formation inside. Anyone else who picks it up, the ore will turn into an ordinary ore. So no matter where you and Di Shueming escape to, I can find you. Then, there was pride in his eyes because no one knows that I'm actually a level 9 formation Grandmaster. Yi Mo took a cold breath in. This Shatar was really bleak. In a few hundred years, he did nothing but mark down formations. Clearly, he only had one goal, and that was to kill Suo Anshan. Such a forbearing guy. Yi Mo subconsciously looked at Shatar. He couldn't tell that he really hated Suo Anshan. Why did he do this? Yi Mo really wanted to annihilate Suo Anshan so that after he left, Old Black would be safer, but he didn't lose his mind. He knew Suo Anshan's power. He's definitely the most powerful cultivator he had ever seen. Shatar wasn't in a rush and was waiting for Yi Mo's answer. Yi Mo fell silent for a while before looking at him. I'm only a truth realization state level 2 cultivator. Old Black is not bad, but is only an ordinary truth realization state peak stage. There are too many like him in the city. Why did you come to me? Shatar nodded. Good question. Because you're the only one in the entire city who can help me. I'm a wood element cultivator. If Suo Anshan doesn't have the Leaming Fire, I wouldn't be scared of him, but his Heaven Flame counters me. My magic is useless in front of him. Then, Yi Mo looked at Shatar in disbelief. This means that if Suo Anshan doesn't have Leaming Flame, you can be evenly matched with him? Shatar smiled pridefully. Even if we can't be evenly matched, he wouldn't be able to do anything to me. With my formation and your help, I believe that I can kill him. Although Yi Mo was beginning to believe him, he still asked City Lordshire, since you have formation means against Suo Anshan, then no matter how powerful his Heaven Flame is, he wouldn't be able to do anything to you. Why did you wait till today? Shatar said heavily. I can fight him and trap him with formation, but I don't dare to take that risk. I only have this chance. If I lose it, I won't be able to rest in peace. Shatar's tone became agitated. He clenched his fists and said shakily, I, Yang Feijing, have to change my name to Shatar and not dare to use my name outside. I have to dress like a woman and not dare to do anything to my woman who cheats on me with Suo Anshan. All for today. I will kill Suo Anshan myself. I hate him so much. I only have one chance, so I definitely can't lose it. Yimo looked at the agitated Shatar and felt sympathy. He even felt that this Shatar was more trustworthy. But considering how forbearing he was, Yimo would rather mess with Suo Anshan than Shatar. Shatar calmed down after a long while and said apologies for the emotions. What do you think, Brother Yi? Yimo had a sudden feeling that it was all a show. Otherwise, how can he calm his emotions so easily? If this guy really acted that out, Yimo was sure he was better than an Oscar winner. Yimo agreed in his heart already. Because for him, if he didn't kill Suo Anshan wouldn't let him go anyways. Shatar suddenly said again. Suo Anshan sent out more than 100 truth realization state cultivators searching for you and used 2 level 10 spirit hounds to find you. Yimo knew Shatar said the truth, so he nodded. Okay, I agree, I'll contact Di Shueming. As for how to set up the trap, you can do it. Shatar nodded. Okay, we will set up here. You've cultivated here for half a month, I'm certain that he can find here. He will first confirm how long you were cultivating here for. If he is certain that you've cultivated here for half a month, he won't suspect you. You just need to leave a little accidental clue and I'm sure they would be able to find here in 3 days. Shatar continued. During these 3 days, I will set up a level 9 trap formation and a level 9 attack formation. Then, Shatar hesitated and asked, by the way, how's your formation skills? Yimo nodded. It's not bad. I'm not level 6 but I'm a level 5 formation great master. If you tell me about your level 9 formation I can help you control it. Shatar nodded. Sure. Then, Yimo contacted Di Shueming but he didn't get a reply. Seeing this, Shatar said calmly, I really only need you. Otherwise it's no use how many more come, as they wouldn't be able to stop Suo Anshan's heaven flame. Yimo was shook. Shatar had such confidence, he didn't think he was bluffing. When Shatar was setting up formation, Yimo was watching on the side. Shatar didn't mind. Seeing the formation flags Shatar threw out, they were all made with extreme grade materials. Clearly, Shatar had been preparing for them for a long time. Seeing this, Yimo exclaimed, masters were really everywhere. Shatar's formation skills were on par with him. He didn't have the ability to hide the formation flags in the void, but he could use the space whirlpools and wind blades to hide them. A day later, a hidden trap formation, 6 cauldron formation and an attack formation, ringed immortal slaughter formation was set up. If Yimo didn't see it with his own eyes, he wouldn't be able to sense it in a short time. They weren't very rare formations, but there can be countless variations depending on the people controlling it. If he wasn't a level 9 formation grandmaster and didn't set up the 9 illusion attack formation, he wouldn't join forces with Shatar. Because going in the formation meant that his life would be controlled by Shatar. Yimo would never let someone else control his life. Then, Shatar said to Yimo, I can't come too closer or Suo Anshan would notice. Don't worry, as soon as he comes I will help you. Yimo felt there was some questionable things about this Shatar, but he still nodded. Okay, I'll lure Suo Anshan here. He wasn't scared of Shatar, he had his own formations. Yimo wasn't afraid of Shatar because his formation flags were hidden in the void. It was a level 9 formation he created himself too. Even if Shatar was watching here, he might not be able to find it. Yimo wasn't afraid of Shatar because his formation flags were hidden in the void. It was a level 9 formation he created himself too. Even if Shatar was watching here, he might not be able to find it. Plus, Shatar set up his formation normally, meaning that Shatar didn't notice his formation or didn't take it into consideration at all. After Shatar left, Yimo went into the storm center for body refinement again. At the same time, he told Di Shueming to not look for him. He was afraid that Di Shueming would crash into Suo Anshan when he came. Shatar told him to leave some marks and Suo Anshan would be able to find here in at most 3 days. But before the end of the 2nd day, Suo Anshan's people found where Yimo was. It was 3 truth realization state cultivators. They immediately surrounded the storm center and sent out a message. In less than a day, Suo Anshan brought 10 truth realization state cultivators over here. In order to not let Suo Anshan know that he reached disaster state, he intentionally covered himself in wounds. Suo Anshan. Yimo didn't need to act and just immediately let out his power. Suo Anshan looked at Yimo coldly before trying to make himself sound calm. You have balls. You stole my 12 lightning orbs and still dare to practice body refinement like nothing happened. Very well. Yimo could tell that Suo Anshan was trying to make himself calm, but he couldn't, so Yimo added oil to fire. Before I did this, I killed your son. Suo Anshan's eyes were about to spew out flames. He stared at Yimo, and after a few seconds he waved to the other truth realization state cultivators. I'm going to shred him alive. This rat is very cunning. Seal off any space he can escape from. I won't allow him to escape from me again. Yes. The 13 truth realization state cultivators agreed. With them here, not even a fine sand could escape this place. But as soon as they said this, Suo Anshan's face changed. He immediately crushed a communication bead. He looked coldly at the 13 cultivators. Hu Tsong and Wu Tian, stay. The rest of you gather my men and return to the city. I will capture this rat and come back immediately. All those who are involved in the coup must be killed. Other than the 2 cultivators who came first, the remaining 11 agreed and turned to leave. Seeing this, Yimo knew it was caused by Shatar. Clearly, he set up the coup. Just how long has this guy been waiting for this day? He was clearly used by Shatar, but he had to use his full power. Yimo knew that even without him, Suo Anshan wouldn't be able to beat Shatar today. Theoretically, with Shatar's power, he should have long found an opportunity to attack Suo Anshan. Why did he drag it on till today? Yimo definitely wouldn't believe it was purely because of this Liming fire. As soon as the 11 cultivators left, Suo Anshan's power rose drastically, and even the space wind blades and sands were forced off by his power. Moments later, Yimo, who was more than 10 meters away from Suo Anshan, found difficulty breathing. Such a powerful force, Yimo was shook. He just realized that Suo Anshan didn't even use half his power last time. Rat, if I still let you escape from me today, I'm not Suo Anshan. Suo Anshan said word by word as his force kept increasing. A cultivation essence force field whirlpool formed around him. It was as though being swooped in would result in defeat. A dark snake-like figure rose up next to him that grew larger and larger as it circulated around him. Yimo released octagonal cauldron without hesitation. Seeing this, Suo Anshan was surprised and said, Great, great, you robbed quite some good things indeed. Not only do you have blue mist lotus heartfire, but also this extreme grade defense magic artifact. It's not a waste for me to hunt you personally for a month. Yimo was at a loss for words. Suo Anshan was right, he really did rob the octagonal cauldron. Haha. Just when Suo Anshan was about to attack, a laughter sounded. City Lord Suo, who made you so angry? It's you. Shatar. Suo Anshan stopped and looked coldly at him. Since when did Vice City Lord Sha have the courage to laugh in front of me? Did your balls get bigger after your daughter died? Shatar said calmly, I have no daughter, but I heard City Lord Suo's daughter was killed, so I came to help. Suo Anshan sneered. Vice City Lord Sha, such a big heart, you don't even want your daughter. Shatar said calmly, ever since I began cultivation I severed off my genitals. How can I have a daughter? I didn't lie to you, I don't have a daughter. Mph. Suo Anshan sneered, then Shi Yuchuan isn't your daughter. Suo Anshan's face suddenly changed and he pointed at Shatar saying shakily, you're saying, you're saying, Shi Yuchuan is my. Shatar laughed. Shi Yuchuan's last name is Shi, but there's so many people in the world with that surname just like Suo. This isn't strange, why does she have to be my daughter? If she changes to Suo Yuchuan, then wouldn't she be City Lord Suo's daughter? I also heard that Princess Chuan sleeps with young Master Suo every night. Suo Anshan could no longer resist the horror and fury in his heart. He splat blood on the spat and his power roared, I'm going to eat you alive, Yang Feijing. The person he hated the most now wasn't Yimo but this Vice City Lord Sha. Shatar threw out a few formation flags and smiled. City Lord Suo still remembers my name, I'm quite honored. Before Suo Anshan could even expand his domain, a truth realization state cultivator suddenly pulled out a 15 cultivation method black sword. But it flew towards Suo Anshan. This was the truth realization state cultivator Suo Anshan kept to help stop Yimo. The other truth realization state cultivator dazed. He clearly didn't expect his pal would ambush City Lord Suo. Before he could react, the black sword had pierced Suo Anshan's armor, injuring him. Suo Anshan yelled and grabbed behind him. That truth realization state cultivator couldn't even resist and was grabbed at the head by Suo Anshan. He spat multiple streams of blood and even his essence spirit was crushed by the furious Suo Anshan. Suo Anshan threw and that body turned into a bloody mist. Suo Anshan's eyes were red and said coldly to the other cultivator Huatsong, "Wu Tian ambushed me just then, did you want to ambush me too? Speak." The other truth realization state peak stage cultivator said with a pale face, "City Lord, I've been with him the whole time but I've never wanted to ambush City Lord. I swear, if I want to ambush." Cold beam shot out of Suo Anshan's eyes, "I only trust dead people." Then, the black snake materialized, forming a 10-meter-long black snake. It ate the other truth realization state without hesitation. Shatar didn't move and neither did Yimo. Suo Anshan calmed down after killing the two and waved his hand. He held the snake in his hand. Only now did Yimo see clearly that it wasn't some black snake but a magic artifact. A snake-headed wand. Shatar didn't move and neither did Yimo. Suo Anshan calmed down after killing the two and waved his hand. He held the snake in his hand. Only now did Yimo see clearly that it wasn't some black snake but a magic artifact. A snake-headed wand. This was the first time Yimo saw a magic artifact that could devour people. Suo Anshan looked coldly at Shatar and didn't move nor talk. Yimo was feeling threatened, not by Suo Anshan but Shatar. This person was too scary. Without hesitation, Huatsong and Wu Tian could find here because Shatar told Wu Tian. It wasn't hard to put a traitor next to Suo Anshan nor make the traitor willing to die for him. The hardest was that he could predict Suo Anshan would keep Wu Tian. What calculations and means was this? Yimo's heart was cold. What would happen if he offended Shatar? Yimo soon got the answer. He would kill Shatar at all costs or he wouldn't be able to sleep. "You set up the coup in the city?" Suo Anshan asked calmly. "Yes." Shatar didn't seem satisfied at all. "You know Shu Qingfei has been sleeping with me. Did you not have the ability to stop it or not dare to?" Suo Anshan asked calmly. Shatar shook his head. "This time I won't answer that now, I will have to wait a bit first." Suo Anshan looked coldly at Shatar and said calmly, "You think these arrangements can kill me for sure?" Shatar smiled and threw out 2 more formation flags. Suddenly, the surroundings changed and they were completely secluded from the outside. Shatar then released a dark grey magic artifact and said with these, "Yes." Level 9 trap formation. Suo Anshan frowned. Shatar added, "You're not completely correct because there's also another level 9 attack formation." Suo Anshan's face changed. He finally understood why Shatar was so certain he would kill him. Yimo noticed the spear in Shatar's hand. He had seen this before. Yinshu used this one. It had the same kai and style. The only difference was the color. One was flaming red and one was dull gray. "Even if you trap me with formation, what can you do to me?" Suo Anshan said, and his wand turned into a 50-meter-long snake charging towards Shatar. At the same time, he waved his hand and a palm-sized mountain appeared above them. Moments later, it turned into a 300-meter-tall mountain. This was the first time Yimo saw someone turn a magic artifact into 300-meter-sized. That snake and mountain wasn't targeting him but he was finding it difficult to breathe. Almost instantly, Yimo felt the clash between the two's domains. He was like a wavy boat amidst huge waves. When Yimo extended his domain, he knew that Shatar didn't lie, he really had the power to fight Suo Anshan head-on. Shatar looked at Yimo in surprise, seeing that Yimo didn't need him to take care of to survive. But then he took his eyes back and threw out a few formation flags. Meanwhile, his long spear pierced over like a comet. A huge explosion sounded that included the subtle whimpering of animals when the two magic artifacts clashed together. Grey cultivation essence and black shadows splashed everywhere. Even though Yimo was disaster state, he felt pain when the cultivation essence splashed on his body. Even so, Yimo didn't completely use his domain to block the splashing cultivation essences. At this moment, Suo Anshan's mountain smashed down and had sealed the space around Yimo and Shatar before it even landed. Mo couldn't even turn his body and his domain shattered under such terrifying weight immediately. Mo sneered and with the use of his cultivation essence, his domain expanded out again. It seemed a little stronger than before and Mo regained freedom. Suo Anshan didn't say anything. He had seen Mo's domain and knew he was preserving power. He attacked Shatar without hesitation. Of course Mo was hiding his strength. This Shatar was too scary. He would rather fight a Suo Anshan than join up with Shatar in this situation. Shatar didn't mind. He didn't urge Mo to attack. Mo was only truth realization state level 2 and being able to hold on under Suo Anshan's terrifying domain was quite substantial. Although he had seen Mo's power, he wouldn't think that Mo could fight with Suo Anshan. He even set the time he wanted Mo to help. He just needed Mo to help him for half a minute and he can heavily injure Suo Anshan. Even if Mo didn't help, he wasn't afraid of Suo Anshan. If he used all his means, Eliming fire was a joke to him. Shatar raised his 2 hands and countless vines birthed out of nowhere. They had all sorts of colors and thorns. When they first grew out, they were only the size of a thumb, but by the time the mountain collapsed these vines were already the size of garbage bins. Seeing this, Mo took a cold breath in. He was certain he was no match for Suo Anshan. Even if he reached truth realization state level 4, he would at most be able to escape from Suo Anshan. Yet, Sha Merchant Association was evenly matched with him but still forbore to this day before making his move. Mo knew he didn't have this forbearance of Shatar. He even suspected that the reason Shatar waited till this day wasn't due to the Liming Flame but something else. Suo Anshan dazed and sneered, "Young Feijing, you're really good at forbearance. You have such means but you've waited till this day." Then, Suo Anshan spat out a blue light. When it ached to the peak of the mountain, it turned into an acre-sized blue fire cloud. When the fire reached the vines there was a sizzling sound. There was a putrid smell and the countless vines melted rapidly. Mo, hurry up and attack! Shatar yelled. He didn't know why Mo took so long. He thought Mo would use Heaven Flame as soon as Suo Anshan used Liming Flame. But now, his vines were about to be burned out and Mo still didn't use Heaven Flame. Okay. Mo agreed and released Mist Lotus Heart Fire. It turned into a blue fire cloud and clashed with the Liming Flame, releasing a heavenly shattering sound. Suo Anshan's face changed. When the Mist Lotus Heart Fire really stopped his fire, he was shook. When Mo ran before, he only used the Mist Lotus Heart Fire to burn a crack in the Liming Flame. He thought Mo's spirit sense wasn't enough to take on Liming Flame. The mountain was still falling but it slowed down and the vines regrew rapidly. Seeing the power of the Mist Lotus Heart Fire, Shatar was shook and annoyed that Mo reacted so slow. Otherwise, he didn't need to waste so much cultivation essence to grow more vines. Mo seemed to not know what Shatar thought and barely used Mist Lotus Heart Fire to stop the Liming Flame. However, sometimes he ran out of cultivation essence and spirit sense, creating some holes. Then, the Liming Flame would soon burn a part of the vines and Shatar would have to keep using his cultivation essence to regrow the vines to stop the huge mountain. Mo seemed to not know what Shatar thought and barely used Mist Lotus Heart Fire to stop the Liming Flame. However, sometimes he ran out of cultivation essence and spirit sense, creating some holes. Then, the Liming Flame would soon burn a part of the vines and Shatar would have to keep using his cultivation essence to regrow the vines to stop the huge mountain. Shatar was extremely furious. He didn't know if Mo was doing this intentionally or really running out of cultivation essence. But seeing that Mo kept eating pills, he believed Mo was really running out of juice. After all, he was only a truth realization state level 2 cultivator. He may be lucky to get the Mist Lotus Heart Fire, but his cultivation essence stores were far weaker than a truth realization state peak stage cultivator. Shatar wasn't expecting Mo to be really able to stop the Liming Flame. If Mo could stop it for half a minute, he would be able to heavily injure Suo Anshan. So the instant Mo stopped the Liming Flame, Shatar threw out a few more formation falgs. Instantly, the grey space lit up, but soon, they knew it was T light but sword rays. Shatar activated his level 9 attack formation, Ringed Immortal Slaughter formation. If a cultivator was hit by one of the sword rays or sword kai, the rest would follow like crazy. But Yimo knew this wasn't the most powerful part to this formation. The most powerful part was that if you didn't understand formation, you would eventually reach the center of the formation while dodging the attacks. There would be countless sword ray and sword kai hidden there. If someone goes in, they would instantly explode. Suo Anshin did know something about formation, and his face sunk seeing the activated sword ray and sword kai. At the same time he was trapped by them, the snake head wand suddenly made a terrifying scream like an awakened snake. As the snake opened its mouth, it shot out countless fine lines. They soon weaved together and formed a big net. After some cracking sounds, Shatar found that the first wave of sword kai were completely blocked by this huge net. Slice. The net also became broken after stopping the first wave of sword kai, but Suo Anshin immediately spat some essence blood and the snake spat out more lines and a faster pace. You can cultivate space cracks. Shatar's face changed, but before he could react, the huge snake wand grew again into 100 meters long. The tail of the snake started waving. Rumble. The tail flicked away the Gru spear out. At the same time, Shatar spat blood in the air. Yimo felt that his domain was shattering piece by piece and knew his cultivation essence wouldn't be able to stop this flick of the tail. Before it reached him, he flew up and landed on the side. Because he wasn't attacking with full power, he didn't have any difficulty in leaving. Shatar's eyes burst red at the same time and threw out tens of formation flags like crazy. Yimo didn't go up now, he had never been using his full power. He felt Shatar was scarier than Suo Anshin. Shatar seemed to have lost his marbles throwing out this many formation flags. How could Yimo not know what he was doing? He wanted to self-destruct the ringed immortal slaughter formation. If that happened, not only would Suo Anshin be injured but so would he. Suo Anshin couldn't tell that Shatar was going to self-destruct the formation, but he noticed something was wrong. Before he could react, Shatar released that grey spear again. It sliced across the air and pierced at Suo Anshin. The grey beam grew faster and faster until it birthed countless spear shadows. Suo Anshin sneered and released his snake wand, but instantly, his face changed. You're going to self-destruct your ruined spirit spear? It's a magic artifact that can grow itself, but you're going to self-destruct it. Although Yimo knew Shatar wasn't going to do that, but he was shocked by Suo Anshin's words. Magic artifact that can grow itself? Was it something like his Zishu? Shatar sneered and didn't answer Suo Anshin. He knew he had tried to overestimate Suo Anshin, but he still ended up underestimating him. But luckily, he was carefully enough and set up two formations. Just as Yimo thought, he was going to self-destruct the attack formation. He believed that no matter how powerful Suo Anshin was, he wouldn't be able to survive that unscathed. He would be injured too, but Shatar believed he would be injured the least. As for Yimo, it was just a nice guy who came to deliver him the Mist Lotus Heartfire. He just wanted Yimo to be a bait to lure Suo Anshin over. Rumble. The wand and the spear clashed together, splashing cultivation essence everywhere and sending shockwaves in the void space. Suo Anshin noticed that the spear was fine while the space around him was getting volatile. That instant, he realized what was going on. He pointed at Shatar and yelled furiously, "You're crazy. You dare to self-destruct formation." Shatar spat a few mouthfuls of blood without hesitation. The entire space shook violently. Yimo sighed and almost instantly, he took back Mist Lotus Heartfire and went into the Space Storm Center. Seeing this, Shatar sneered. It was useless where you went when his level 9 formation self-destructed. But he had no use for this insect now. With his formation, he would be able to find Yimo's storage ring and take the Mist Lotus Heartfire. Suo Anshin released 3 extreme-grade cultivation artifact shields. At the same time, his snake wand formed a huge shadow and enveloped him. This wasn't it, he also used Eliming Fire to form a fire barrier to protect him. Rumble, rumble. This formation was Shatar's after all, so although he was in the center of the explosion, he was in a much better state than Suo Anshin. Yimo instantly went into the Golden Page world in the center of the storm. The only reason he came here was to hide in the Golden Page world. The surveillance formations Yimo threw out were instantly destroyed. One could see how terrifying this level 9 formation was. A few seconds later, Yimo saw from the formation discs he threw out that the explosion eased up. He then went out of the golden page world and went invisible. If possible, he wanted to ambush Shatar. He knew Shatar wouldn't be killed by his own formation. He wouldn't even be heavily injured. As soon as Yimo came out of the golden page world, the terrifying explosive force came. This instantly left countless sword Kai marks on him, but they couldn't do much to him. There was only a few wounds. The space storm also became messy due to the explosion of the formation. Suo Anshin sat up shakily. His snakehead wand was broken and the 3 extreme-grade cultivation artifact shields were gone. Yimo knew Suo Anshin was over. Even though he wasn't dead, it would take him about half a year to recover cultivation essence. Shatar wasn't going to give him this opportunity. Shatar spat some blood and waved the spear in his hands, saying coldly, "You asked me before why I didn't stop Shu Qingfei sleeping with you. Now I can answer. She can sleep with you because I set everything up, but that bitch doesn't even know herself." Hearing this, Yimo was confused. Was the anger and excitement Shatar showing before fake? Now, he realized why Shatar didn't answer Suo Anshin's question, because if he did, then he would be suspicious of Shatar's emotions before. If he was suspicious of Shatar, he wouldn't help him fight Suo Anshin. Hearing this, Yimo was confused. Was the anger and excitement Shatar showing before fake? Now, he realized why Shatar didn't answer Suo Anshin's question, because if he did, then he would be suspicious of Shatar's emotions before. If he was suspicious of Shatar, he wouldn't help him fight Suo Anshin. Who is it? Shatar suddenly looked at Yimo's direction. Yimo was shook, he just showed a little emotions and Shatar noticed it. Who can it be? It's me, of course, Vice City Lord Sha. Yimo didn't need to hide himself anymore. At the same time, Yimo threw out Shadowless just in case. You're fine. Shatar looked at Yimo in shock, stating the obvious. Yimo knew this was because this was too shocking to Shatar that he was completely fine. Yimo looked at Shatar in surprise. Did Vice City Lord Sha want something to happen to me? Then, Yimo blamed Vice City Lord Sha. You're really not nice. I at least helped you quite a bit, but you didn't even notice me when you let the fireworks out. I was so scared I almost forgot to block my ears. Shatar looked at Yimo for a long time with uncertainty but didn't answer anything. How could he not know that Yimo was being sardonic to him? He wasn't afraid of Yimo, but Suo Anshin wasn't dead, and if he fought with Yimo even for a few seconds, who knows what would happen? Now, he no longer dared to underestimate Yimo. He was only truth realization state level 2, but he was a disaster state body refinement master. He could not only escape from Suo Anshin's trap but also from his level 9 formation self-destruction. That was in a rush and I didn't get to notify Brother Yi. Luckily Brother Yi is powerful and fine. Shatar realized Yimo's threat and immediately said politely, as though it was really all just an accident. Suo Anshin also looked at Yimo with surprise. He suddenly said, "Yi, if you trust Shatar, what happens to me will happen to you. I'm exhausted of cultivation essence now and all my meridians are broken." That Shatar didn't have it easy too. If I were you, I would attack him. Brother Yi, I'm injured, but it's not serious. Brother Yi, don't listen to him. You killed his daughter and son, how can he let that go? Plus, we were in an alliance before. Shatar said slowly. Yimo smiled. Of course he knew that Shatar really wasn't seriously injured. So before he fought with Shatar he had to get his payment. He then looked at Suo Anshin and nodded. Suo, you're right. I was invited by Shatar to fight you, not completely because you were hunting me. Hehe, I'm not scared of being hunted because I'm used to it. I came to find you because I heard you have a lot of good things in your storage ring. I think if you give your storage ring to me, I won't attack you. What Yimo didn't expect was that as soon as he said this, Suo Anshin took off his storage ring and gave it to Yimo. Yi, although you killed me, son, I trust you more. If a trash can give his own woman to someone else to sleep, that trash does not deserve to talk to me, nor does he deserve to own my things. Even if you kill me, I will let Shatar, this bastard, die before me. Yimo took it and laughed. Suo, you've been talking bullshit the entire time, but you've finally said something noteworthy. You're right, if a trash can give his own woman to someone else, then working with that trash is asking for trouble. Then, Yi Mo released octagonal cauldron and Zishu. Shatar said calmly to Yi Mo, brother Yi, we agreed that we would have half each. How come I don't see you taking out that other half? Do you want to have it all to yourself? Or do you think just because I'm injured you can do whatever you want? Yi Mo looked at Shatar speechlessly. This guy also had such a thick face. Yi Mo sighed after a long while. Sigh, Vice City Lordship, although I don't want to admit it, but I must say you guessed it. I like to abuse the injured and weak. I saw that you're injured, so I want to have it all to myself. Before Yi Mo finished, he expanded out his domain and Zishu brought out a purple sword rays. Illusion cloud formation kill strike. Shatar had seen Yi Mo in action before and he knew that this strike was completely different to the domain-shattering strike he saw before. The previous strike was the combination of cultivation essence and spirit sense, but this strike seemed to be alive. He had never seen someone who can control every sword ray he released and use it to form a formation to trap the opponent. Shatar regained his composure moments later. He didn't even need to wave his hand and countless vines birthed out of the void. They looked very disgusting. But these vines also seemed to have their own will, just like Yi Mo's sword rays. It formed a huge net shape enclosing all of Yi Mo's purple sword rays. Shatar thought that even though he was heavily injured, his vines would be able to deplete Yi Mo's purple sword rays quickly and then trap him. But when the two clashed together, he immediately knew he was wrong. Crack, Shatar found that if he didn't keep inserting cultivation essence and spirit sense into the vines, they would be no match for Yi Mo's purple sword rays. Dining that Yi Mo didn't even use his heaven flame yet, Shatar felt things weren't good. He began to sweat cold. Yi Mo's cultivation essence and spirit sense were far beyond his expectations. He did have other trump cards, but it wasn't time to use it yet. Another wave of cracks sounded and Shatar's face finally changed. He realized that his domain couldn't match with Yi Mo's domain. This meant that Yi Mo was only truth realization state level 2, but his domain was more powerful and perfect than his. Although this was due to him being injured, but he really didn't want to believe that. You hid your power before. You intentionally let Suo Anshan's flame burn my vines and then use your heaven flame, right? Then you intentionally left holes in your flames too? Shatar couldn't resist reproaching. Yi Mo looked at Shatar in shock. I heard Vice City Lordship say you didn't fear Suo Anshan, so I didn't dare to use full power. Aren't powerful people usually very prideful? If I used my full power and then that wouldn't showcase Vice City Lordship's power, that would be a great offense. I didn't expect Vice City Lordship was smart enough to see it. Great, great. Shatar calmed down again. A mere truth realization state level 2 dare to trick me. Then, he waved his hand and the ruined spirit spear immediately brought about endless void killing intent piercing over. Halfway, it separated into 9 black spears. They were like a huge 9-fingered claw looming over Yi Mo. The purple sword rays also sizzled and disappeared in the wake of the 9 spears. Hearing this, Yi Mo's heart sunk. He knew his domain had shattered. Before he could react, the 9 spears were in front of him. There was a putrid smell. Yi Mo knew these 9 shadows were no ordinary things. Before he could think, he inserted all of his cultivation essence into the octagonal cauldron and the octagonal cauldron spun rapidly. Thud. There was a huge clash and Yi Mo felt his meridians going chaotic. He spat blood out as he was sent flying with his octagonal cauldron. He didn't even have time to use his heaven flame. Seeing the power of Yi Mo's Zishu, Suo Anshan was also shook himself. He didn't expect a truth realization state level 2 would have such powerful sword technique. But he only wanted Yi Mo to be stronger and stronger. Even if Yi Mo kills him in the end, as long as he can see Shatar die first, he would be satisfied. Plus, he had void life force marrow. As long as Yi Mo and Shatar can fight for a while, he would be able to recover 80%. Seeing the power of Yi Mo's Zishu, Suo Anshan was also shook himself. He didn't expect a truth realization state level 2 would have such powerful sword technique. But he only wanted Yi Mo to be stronger and stronger. Even if Yi Mo kills him in the end, as long as he can see Shatar die first, he would be satisfied. Plus, he had void life force marrow. As long as Yi Mo and Shatar can fight for a while, he would be able to recover 80%. The reason he gave his storage ring to Yi Mo without hesitation was because he didn't want Yi Mo to remember he still had voice life force marrow. No one knew that the instant the explosion occurred, he took out the void life force marrow from the storage ring. But Shirtar's power was far beyond his expectation. He was injured in the explosion of the level 9 formation, but he was still able to send Yi Mo flying in one move. There was disappointment in his eyes. His hatred towards Shirtar was inexplicable. This person knew Princess Chuan was his daughter but still let her sleep with his son. Comparatively, Yi Mo only killed his son and therefore the hatred wasn't that big. Unfortunately, Yi Mo had some power but he was still far too weak. Shirtar wasn't going to let him go. Thinking about this, Shirtar indeed charged at Yi Mo again. His hands sprayed out countless seeds. These seeds instantly budded in the air and countless buds sprouted. They turned into countless vines. If these vines joined together, Yi Mo wouldn't have the opportunity to attack again. Shirtar would only need to watch Yi Mo being killed by these vines or keep spraying out seeds when the vines were being burned by the heaven flame. Seeing this, Yi Mo was furious. This Shirtar didn't take him seriously at all. "Brother Yi, why do this? We agreed to cooperate but you want to rob my thing, sigh," Shirtar said calmly while forming the 9 spear shadows again. Seeing this, Yi Mo sneered and hacked Zishu at the ruined spirit spear while releasing Mist Lotus Heartfire. Seeing this, Shirtar sneered. Suo Anshan's heaven flame was ranked lower than Yi Mo's but the difference wasn't huge. And Suo Anshan was truth realization state peak stage. If he wasn't afraid of Suo Anshan's heaven flame, why would he be afraid of Yi Mo's heaven flame? Even if heaven flame can really counter his vines, he still had other means to easily kill Yi Mo. What shook Shirtar was that Yi Mo didn't form a fire cloud with the heaven flame. Instead, the heaven flame formed into a huge blue sun that hung mid-air. The sun emitted countless blue rays that instantly covered this entire space. Moments later, this area turned into a blue world. If they didn't see Yi Mo release this sun, they would have thought they went back to solid land, back to the cultivation realm. Seeing this, Suo Anshan's eyes narrowed. He was already the peak of the cultivation realm. How could he not know that this was Yi Mo's heaven flame cultivation method? This was a true method of using heaven flame. He had been searching for countless years and couldn't find a heaven flame cultivation method. Yet today, he saw this on a young truth realization state cultivator. This made Suo Anshan sigh. Just how many good thines did this cultivator have? The terrifying blue rays didn't give him time to think anymore. He barely released his Li-Ming flame, forming a heaven flame barrier to block the blue rays. But Shirtar didn't have it so easy now. Yi Mo didn't even need to use the fire cloud to burn his vines, just releasing this sun put him at the complete lower hand of the battle. Sizzle, the putrid stench grew and the endless vines were all turned to dust under the heaven flame 9 suns. Shirtar was shook. He didn't expect the pawn he found to be able to use the heaven flame better than the original opponent. Rumble. Zishu and ruined spirit spear clashed together. The 9 spear shadows were scattered. Yi Mo flew back more than 10 meters back into the storm center before. Yi Mo knew there was still a huge difference between him and Shirtar in terms of cultivation essence and spirit sense. Both of their powers were beyond truth realization state peak stage. One could call them a fake immortal. Shirtar wasn't happy at all striking Yi Mo away. He knew that he was stronger than Yi Mo in cultivation essence, but because of his injuries and overexertion of cultivation essence, he might not be able to finish Yi Mo off quickly. He really didn't understand why Yi Mo was fine when he self-destructed his level 9 formation. Shirtar didn't understand, but he didn't have time to think about that. He looked coldly at Yi Mo and said, "You forced me. I will let you know true despair." He waved his hand again and countless shadows appeared in the air. Then, he spat many mouthfuls of essence blood into it. Then, the shadows started to move. When Yi Mo saw them, he was shook. Corpse puppets, truth realization state corpse puppets. Corpse puppet was an extremely cruel cultivation method. The practitioner would capture other cultivators alive and bind their essence spirit. Then he would sink the cultivator into a special fluid for 100 years. But the cultivator wouldn't die and his body would become extremely tough. At this time, The cultivator would pull the puppet out and burn him with his own cultivation essence fire for 100 years. During this time, the puppet would be conscious. He would have to endure inhumane torture and endless horror. 200 years later, their conscious would be devoured by the puppet master, but their essence spirit would be kept. At this moment, they would just be a puppet, but they would be stronger than they were alive. Their levels are based on their cultivation level when they were alive. These corpse puppets were clearly made with truth realization state cultivators. Seeing this, Suo Anshan pointed at Shatar in shock. You, so all those missing cultivators were turned into corpse puppets by you. Shatar's face was pale too, and he looked coldly at Suo Anshan. You will be my 931 truth realization state corpse puppet. Then he looked coldly at Yi Mo, forcing me to use this. You will be my weakest corpse puppet. Yi Mo had annihilated all the vines and didn't want to waste his spirit sense, so he took away the mist lotus heartfire and ate a few spirit recovery pills. Then he looked at Shatar and said coldly, "Sure, you have such power, but you waited till today to attack and asked me to help. I don't think you're afraid of the Liming fire. And, your acting skills are quite good, I almost thought it was real." Shatar ate a few pills and looked snarly at Yi Mo. "I wasn't acting, I'm really furious. I did give her away, but am I not allowed to be angry?" He then said coldly, "Do you know why I haven't turned Di Shueming into a corpse puppet yet? Because she's the only woman I've ever loved. Before I turn her into a corpse puppet, I will satisfy her wish. I know Xue Qingfei doesn't really like Suo Anshan, but I know she really did fall in love with Di Shueming. I will turn her into a corpse puppet with Di Shueming. Pity, it's too early to show my corpse puppets today." Shatar calmed down, psychopath. Yi Mo sneered. Both of them were recovering their spirit sense and cultivation essence. "I know why you waited till now to attack. You didn't wait for Yi to stop my Liming fire. Even if he didn't appear, you were planning to attack in these 2 months because you're waiting for." Shatar suddenly roared, "Shut up." Then, Shatar waved his ruined spirit spear and those few hundred corpse puppets rushed at Yi Mo. Yi Mo wasn't even shook. A few formation flags suddenly appeared in his hands and he threw them out. Yi Mo wasn't even shook. A few formation flags suddenly appeared in his hands and he threw them out. Shatar saw this and sneered, "No wonder you were being so sneaky here before. You were setting up a formation. But you're quite capable to hide it from me. But even if you set up..." As Yi Mo threw out the last formation flag, Shatar was dazed. There was extreme shock in his face. He didn't even believe what he saw. How could this mere truth realization state level 2 cultivator hide a level 9 formation that even he didn't see? Shatar realized that not only did he not recognize this formation, he didn't even know when it was activated. "You're a level 9 formation Grandmaster too." Shatar stared at Yi Mo in shock. He was certain that Yi Mo was not only a level 9 formation Grandmaster but one that was better than him. When he was setting up his formation, Yi Mo was trapped inside but was very calm. Clearly, he wasn't scared of his formation. Even when he self-destructed his formation, Yi Mo wasn't hurt at all. Yet, he didn't even see Yi Mo's formation nor when it was activated. Shatar screamed and threw out a few more formation flags. Those disorganized corpse puppets became orderly and formed a strange formation. Some corpse puppets released their magic artifacts and charged at Yi Mo. Yi Mo's face changed. With this many truth realization state cultivators charging at him, he would be killed for sure. He activated the formation without hesitation. The instant he did, Yi Mo was ready to self-destruct his formation at any time. Yi Mo really couldn't think of another way to stop all these truth realization state corpse puppets other than detonating his formation. Countless illusion cloud sword ray and sword kai filled the space. The most powerful thing about this formation was that there were countless sword ray and sword kai that was hidden from both the eyes and the spirit sense. If one was hit by one sword ray, their momentum would be stopped, and this momentary stop was enough for countless sword rays to swoop over. How do you dodge something you can't see with your spirit sense nor eyes? Yi Mo was enlightened of this attack from Ji Jiuan's invisible sword kai. This was also because Yi Mo cultivated the 3-birth chant. Anything he saw he could make into his own if he wanted to. Shatar mobilized 100 corpse puppets to protect him without hesitation. They all released defense magic artifact, making the place he was at impenetrable. But Yi Mo was shook to find that of those few hundred puppets, they didn't all use magic artifact. Most of them just charged at him dazily. Yi Mo looked back at Shatar and immediately knew what was going on. His face was pale and he kept eating pills. Clearly, he didn't control all of the puppets, so his spirit sense and control over the puppets weren't perfect. Realizing this, Yi Mo felt assured. If he didn't have formation or other means, he really wouldn't be able to escape if he was trapped by these puppets. But he was in his formation and Shatar used most of his spirit sense to control 100 puppets to protect himself. The rest weren't a threat to him. No wonder Shatar didn't use these puppets to attack Suo Anshan. If he did, then he would be heavily injured in both spirit sense and cultivation essence even if he killed Suo Anshan. Spirit sense injuries were much harder to treat than meridian or bodily injuries. Shatar was exerting quite some spirit sense controlling these puppets. If he lost control, these puppets might come back to bite him instead. But soon, Yi Mo found that although these puppets didn't even use 1% of their power, they weren't afraid of his sword ray. Whenever the sword ray struck them, it would only make a metal striking sound. Yi Mo also found that if he was trapped by these puppets, then their aggressive instincts would be activated and they would kill him without Shatar's command. Regardless, Yi Mo knew he must not be trapped by them. They were fast, but this formation was Yi Mo's, so instantly, Yi Mo left their surrounding. He raised his hands and tens of lightning swords shot out. Rumble. These lightning swords were as powerful as truth realization state divine damnation, but Yi Mo found that only one of the 10 puppets he struck was turned to dust. The rest only lost an arm or leg, some were completely fine. This meant that he would need to use hundreds or even 1,000 lightning sword to kill all these puppets. Yi Mo took a cold breath in. He would be over himself before he killed all those puppets. Yi Mo threw tens of lightning swords at Shatar, but before they reached him, they were blocked by the nearly 100 puppets raising shields. Thud. Yi Mo was speechless. Luckily Shatar couldn't completely control them or he wouldn't be able to stop them for a bit. He couldn't think of any other way of escaping other than self-destructing the formation. Yi Mo was unhappy, but he didn't know that Shatar was so shocked he was speechless. Yi Mo's performance before was magnificent, but now, releasing such terrifying lightning sword, this completely dumbfounded him. If he wasn't scared of Yi Mo detonating the formation like he did and protected himself with 100 puppets, he would have been injured by the lightning swords already. At this moment, Shatar truly began to fear. He had used all his means. If this maniac truth realization state level 2 cultivator still had other means, he might really not be able to survive today. Even if Yi Mo didn't have much means left, he wouldn't be able to last very long. It was exerting his cultivation essence and spirit sense trying to control these puppets. Yi Mo was planning to get Shadowless to help when there was a stalemate, but now that Shadowless saw Yi Mo had the complete upper hand, he charged out at a puppet instead. Moments alter, Shadowless flew out and charged to another. Just when Yi Mo didn't know what was going on, those puppets that Shadowless flew into fell to the ground. Without a doubt, Shadowless devoured the essence spirit of those puppets. Seeing them fall, Yi Mo realized. These puppets were powerful, but their weakness was also obvious. If there was a way to devour those essence spirit without consciousness, these puppets would turn into rocks. But just as this moment, Yi Mo suddenly felt cold. There was this unforeseen killing intent surge into his consciousness. Suo Anshan. Yi Mo thought of this name instantly and went into his golden page world. Suo Anshan. Yi Mo thought of this name instantly and went into his golden page world. Exposing the golden page world to save his life was worth it. Rumble, a terrifying explosion sounded. 100-meter-tall explosion waves rose at where Yi Mo was. Nothing existed in that place anymore. The space wind blades and space-fine sands weren't blown away by this explosion. They were all bound in a domain. A black snake head swept past and they were all devoured by the snake. If Yi Mo didn't go into the golden page world and wanted to dash out, he would also be devoured by the black snake head. From the formation disc Yi Mo threw out, he could only see the explosion wave and that huge snake head. The instant he came out of the golden page world, Zishu brought a purple ray towards at the snake head. Whimper. The snake head didn't expect there would be someone alive in the space where the burst truth bead exploded. This strike hacked right into its head, splashing black blood everywhere. Suo Anshan in the distance spat blood again and at a piece of green without hesitation. Then he looked at Yi Mo in shock. How did you dodge the burst truth pill? How did you know? How did you disappear? The burst truth bead plus the explosion of space was much more powerful than ordinary burst truth pills. Yi Mo looked coldly at him. Suo, I forgot you had void life force marrow, no wonder you found your life back so quickly. Didn't you say you hate Vice City Lord Sha the most? Why did you ambush me immediately? Are you farting with your mouth? Suo Anshan's face was green. If people dared to say this to him usually, he would have cut that person into pieces. Soon, Yi Mo knew why Suo Anshan was attacking him. Shatar could protect himself now in his formation. He kept throwing out formation flags, clearly wanting to set up a defense formation in his Space 9 illusion attack formation. But Shatar didn't know his formation at all. Even if Shatar could set up a defense formation, it wouldn't be able to be accomplished quickly. Shadowless was flying wobbly. There were a few hundred truth realization state corpse puppets on the ground. Yi Mo knew Shadowless was at its limit. He took Shadowless back. There were still a lot of puppets left, but Shatar couldn't even protect himself now. He just needed to keep using Lightning Sword at Shatar. Shatar realized this too, and his face was scarily pale. He kept eating pills, wanting to control the corpse puppets. Suo Anshan sneered and didn't say anything. He waved and that huge mountain appeared in his hands again. Clearly to him, killing Yi Mo was the most important. He didn't dare to attack Yi Mo first as he knew Yi Mo wasn't easy to mess with. He had great worry towards Yi Mo. If Yi Mo would let him leave now, he would leave without hesitation. The octagonal cauldron spun above Yi Mo's head. Suo Anshan had recovered his cultivation essence, around 80%. Just when Yi Mo was about to fight Suo Anshan's face changed and he had the look of surprise and joy. He saw the void open up again. There was suddenly the view of the sky. It was getting closer to them but narrower near them and wider near the Black Rock City. It's as though someone tore apart the void near Black Rock City. With this, it meant that they could leave here. Yi Mo rejoiced and charged over without hesitation. However, he was stopped by a powerful force. Meanwhile, Suo Anshan charged out without any trouble. Before Yi Mo could react, Shatar also looked surprised and joyful. He charged out of the void like Suo Anshan, disappearing into the sky. Yi Mo's level 9 attack formation couldn't stop them at all. Immortal Ascension. Yi Mo immediately realized and his face looked bad. At this crucial moment, the Immortal Ascension tunnel opened again. What was the reason? If it wasn't for this, Suo Anshan and Shatar would eventually become his loot. Yi Mo was very unsatisfied. He couldn't leave through that Immortal Ascension tunnel, only Truth Realization State Peak Stage could leave through there. Shatar left in such a hurry that he didn't even take a single corpse puppet. Now, they were all running around frantically like flies. Seeing that his formation wasn't able to do anything to these puppets, he just took it away and without the formation binding, they all dashed out into the endless void. He didn't know puppet control and didn't want to take these puppets that were so cruelly created. Just when Yi Mo wanted to contact Di Shueming, he charged over and quickly threw out a jade slip at Yi Mo. The reason is in here. I'm going to Immortal Ascension. Brother, will meet again in the immortal realm. Then, Di Shueming instantly disappeared in the cracked open void. Yi Mo quickly took the jade slip and felt at loss. His friend left and so did his enemies. He was the only one left in this void. Scanning his spirit sense in, there was Di Shueming's desperate voice. My friend told me that there was internal conflict at Black Rock City. Black Hades isn't in the city and his city lord estate was completely smashed. They found a huge seal there and some extremely precious spirit item was sealed there. When someone broke the seal, they found that the Immortal Ascension tunnel was opened. There was also another map behind the words. Yi Mo could tell it was the tunnel Di Shueming told him about. Yi Mo fell silent and decided to go see Black Rock City. If all the truth realization state peak stage cultivators ascended, then there was no threat for him at the city. Thinking about this, Yimo dashed quickly towards the city. Halfway, he heard the rumbling sound in the sky. The immortal ascension tunnel was slowly closing up. Yimo felt strange, but he still dashed towards the city. He was disaster state body refinement now, and he flew at full power. In just 10 days, he arrived at Black Rock City. When he came back here again, he could only feel everything was dead. Yimo scanned with spirit sense. There were bodies everywhere. Clearly, there was a huge battle not long ago. Seeing that so many truth realization state cultivators were so close to immortal ascension but died in this battle, Yimo sighed. Suo Anshin couldn't react at the time, but he would definitely be able to realize that he had a small world. If he saw Suo Anshin in the immortal realm, he would need to kill him. Yimo walked on the streets alone. All the shops were in shambles. Those dead cultivators' items were also looted. Yimo didn't search street by street. All the good things wouldn't be on display outside, it would be kept in storage rings. So the first place he went to was the City Lord estate. He wanted to see what spirit item was sealed there. The walls of the City Lord were fallen. There was only a wooden path towards the backyard that was rather complete. The walls of the City Lord were fallen. There was only a wooden path towards the backyard that was rather complete. Yimo just walked tens of meters on the pathway and was stopped by the fallen wall of a round hall. Only the spirit sense shielding FM was barely there. There were ruins everywhere. More than 10 truth realization state died here, and the ground was covered in blood marks. The first thing Yimo saw in the center of the all was a round crystal ball. He noticed it not because it was pretty but because there was a green plant inside. Bitter bamboo. Yimo blurted out. His voice echoed in the halls. How is this possible? Yimo was shook. He didn't know why there was a bitter bamboo here. This was something that even the immortals standing at the pinnacle of the immortal realm would want. How can it be in the Black Rock City? This was impossible. Yimo knew clearly that bitter bamboo was one of the 10 great spirit plants in the world. No matter how many realms there would only be one of it. There was one bitter bamboo in his Golden Page world, so there definitely wouldn't be one here. Yimo was certain this was impossible. But the reality was that there was another bitter bamboo in front of him. He didn't see wrong. Why is it so? Yimo murmured, giving himself a few spirit cleansing spells to force himself to calm down. After a long while, Yimo calmed down completely and forcefully moved his eyes away from bitter bamboo before studying the surrounding situation. There were 49 frog-like things around the crystal ball. They had mouths bigger than their body and their mouths faced all directions of the city. Inside their mouths was a rather spacious spat with a seating. Yimo looked around and was shook. He realized this was a 49 life-locking formation. There was only one use of this formation, and it was devour life force to nourish a spirit item. Clearly, this formation was devouring the life force of the entire city's cultivator to nourish this bitter bamboo. Yimo was thinking, there was no earth nor sunlight. The only thing the bitter bamboo could depend on was spirit kai and life force. A mature bitter bamboo didn't need this, but this bitter bamboo was clearly not matured yet. So, it needed life force to nourish. However, Yimo felt things weren't right. This bitter bamboo gave him a strange feeling. 49 life-locking formation devoured life force, but someone was needed to refine the life force and provide it to the bitter bamboo. These seats were for the cultivator refining the life force. However, there's a special feature of the 49 life-locking formation. The cultivator refining the life force also need to supply his own life force and essence blood, otherwise it wouldn't work. If this seating was Suo Anshin's, it meant that he would also need to supply his own essence blood and life force. But this was also beneficial, as if the bitter bamboo was fully mature, he would be able to quickly spirit control the bitter bamboo and get nourished by it. Yimo frowned and looked at this bitter bamboo. He wasn't sure if the 10 great spirit plants need to be spirit controlled, as his bitter bamboo recognized him as the master automatically. Yimo took out thing again and flipped to bitter bamboo. It said clearly there was only one of each top 10 spirit plants. This means that since he got the bitter bamboo, there wouldn't be any more in the world. Why was there another strange feeling bitter bamboo here? Yimo carefully walked to the seating and picked it up. He saw words below it: bitter bamboo, one of the 10 great spirit plants in the world. It can be nourished by the 49 life-locking formation. Once the number of leaves becomes 9 times 9, the spirit plant would serve the nourisher as its master. 9 times 9, that was 81 leaves. Yimo counted, there were already 80 leaves on the bitter bamboo. Yimo finally understood why Suo Anshan said that Shatar would be attacking him within the 2 months regardless. It was for the bitter bamboo. Shatar knew Suo Anshan was nourishing the bitter bamboo with life force and essence blood. He left Suo Anshan do the hard work for him, and when the bitter bamboo was about to mature, Shatar would kill Suo Anshan and take it for himself. Instantly, Yimo also understood why Shatar gave his woman to Suo Anshan. Xu Qingfei was his woman, they must have dual cultivated together. Xu Qingfei had Shatar's Kai and essence blood. When Xu Qingfei dual cultivated with Suo Anshan, this Kai was transferred to Suo Anshan. Thus, the bitter bamboo would also have Shatar's Kai. This way, once Shatar annihilated Suo Anshan, the bitter bamboo would still recognize him as master. Realizing this, Yimo suddenly wanted to vomit. This Shatar was too disgusting. Xu Qingfei clearly liked a heroic warrior, so Shatar intentionally wore flowery robes to make himself seem feminine. Then, with Shatar's secret planning, it was not hard for Xu Qingfei to get together with the heroic warrior-looking Suo Anshan. Although Di Xueming was black and skinny, he also seemed like a heroic warrior. No wonder Xu Qingfei liked him. Just as Shatar said, she didn't truly like Suo Anshan but Di Xueming. She only got with Suo Anshan because she was disgusted of that feminine Shatar. Looking at this bitter bamboo, Yimo suddenly felt very disgusted. Although he didn't like it, he didn't destroy it. It was a priceless treasure of the world. But Yimo knew that the 49 life-locking formation definitely wasn't something Suo Anshan could set up. Since someone else set it up, why was Suo Anshan refining it? Did Suo Anshan not know that the 10 great spirit plants couldn't be spirit-controlled, they could only willingly serve you as master? Yimo didn't think much. He scanned his spirit sense along the wall and dazed. Instantly, he came to a broken wall. There were a few huge claw marks, they were very fresh and Yimo recognized them. This was God Beast Kuan's claw mark. Perhaps during the riot, Kuan also joined, but something happened and the fight reached the City Lord estate. Did all those truth realization state think of the crystal ball as the seal, and when Kuan came, they joined up against Kuan? After all, anything on it was a treasure. There was a huge battle and countless truth realization state cultivators died. As for the immortal ascension tunnel, perhaps Kuan tore it open in fury. If Kuan tore open the space, then things would be easy to explain. Due to the tear in space, these cultivators all sense the immortal ascension calling. They all chose to immortal ascension without hesitation. Old Black was quite a good friend to leave a message first. Just how much will was needed to do that when being trapped here from immortal ascension for a few 100 to 1,000 years? Yimo sighed. Old Black flew into the immortal realm. Although he was truth realization state level 2, he was still far from immortal ascension. Without adequate resources, he could be trapped in the same state for a few 100 years. Yimo sighed. Old Black flew into the immortal realm. Although he was truth realization state level 2, he was still far from immortal ascension. Without adequate resources, he could be trapped in the same state for a few 100 years. But this bitter bamboo, Yimo looked over. If it was some spirit plant fed with life force, it wouldn't be far from withering without the life force supply. Wait, Yimo was shook. He thought of Kuan. These god beasts were the most sensitive to these spirit plants. If it really was bitter bamboo, why didn't it take it away? This was impossible. Yimo thought of those few fake items that Shui Yufeng made in the all-herb mountain ranges. Was this bitter bamboo fake too? How could the 10 great spirit plants could life force to survive? Doing this was something against nature. How could it happen on the 10 great spirit items? Realizing this, Yimo immediately knew that this bitter bamboo was quite possibly fake. He stood outside the crystal ball and studied this bitter bamboo carefully. After careful perusal, Yimo found that this bitter bamboo was similar to his bitter bamboo, but it gave off completely different feels. The bitter bamboo leaves gave people a very comfortable look. Even if you didn't grab it in your hands, it had this serene feeling. Meanwhile, this bitter bamboo leaves only had a messy life force. Yimo frowned. If this wasn't bitter bamboo, what was it? Yimo suddenly thought of a possibility. Could it essence blood that the truth realization state cultivators who came to Black Rock City were specifically arranged to do so and supply life force for this fake bitter bamboo? If this was true, then this person would be too scary. Yimo looked at this bitter bamboo. He couldn't guess what it was, but that uncomfortable feeling was still there. No matter what, he would destroy it first. Thinking about this, Yimo released formation flags without hesitation. He still had the formation flags for his Space 9 illusion attack formation. It would take him long to set them up into the right place. After that, he added a simple trap formation outside. He was scared there was something in here. Then, Yimo released the Mist Lotus Heartfire and was about to destroy the bitter bamboo, but suddenly, he heard a bleak voice: "Rat, you're so evil. I thought you were setting up the formation to take the bitter bamboo, but you're going to use a blue heaven flame to burn my Gowl's essence spirit. Who is it?" Yimo was shook. He then immediately realized that the voice came from inside the crystal ball. Then, the bitter bamboo inside the ball disappeared and the crystal ball cracked. A dark bleak figure appeared before Yimo. It didn't look like the bitter bamboo at all. Yimo immediately released his octagonal cauldron and looked vigilantly at this bleak shadow. "Are you a Gowl kept here by someone?" The dark shadow said hatefully, "That's right. I'm a Gowl, but I'm not kept by someone. When I was about to succeed, that bastard broke into the space here, making the entire city's cultivators immortal ascension. Now I don't have life force to feed me. I wanted to devour you, but I didn't expect a mere truth realization state level 2 cultivator can recognize that I'm not bitter bamboo." Yimo was shook. If it wasn't that the real bitter bamboo was in his hands, he would definitely think this is a bitter bamboo. If he did and tried to take it, wouldn't he fall into the hands of this Gowl? Gowls were the clones of powerful cultivators. Yimo had never heard of anyone in the cultivation realm being able to separate out a Gowl clone. This Gowl said he wasn't kept by someone, meaning that he was either born naturally or he had already killed his main body and had his own will. No matter what, he didn't want to mess with it. "But even so, do you think you can escape from me?" the Gowl said, and turned into a huge shadow sweeping at Yimo. Before it landed on Yimo, Yimo felt he couldn't move at all. He was shook. This Gowl was so powerful. He was much more powerful than Suo Anshan. This domain wasn't something he could fend off against. He definitely was no match for his Gowl. Yimo burst his cultivation essence like crazy, and just when Imthea Gowl was about to reach him, he broke free. At the same time, he threw out many formation flags and yelled, "Explode." At the same time, Yimo went into the Golden Page World and controlled the Golden Page World to flew to the life gate of the formation. He then left the Golden Page World immediately, fearing that it would be exposed. As the huge explosion sounded, it was more devastating than Shatar's formation's detonation. Even though this formation was Yimo's and he knew where the life gate was, the terrifying power ripped apart all of the armor on his body. His flesh was already messy. Yimo knew that if he didn't reach disaster state body refinement, he wouldn't be able to live at all. A sharp shriek sounded and Yimo immediately knew it was the Gowl. His level 9 formation detonation didn't even kill this Gowl. His life force was too powerful. Yimo didn't dare to stay here at all. He charged out without hesitation. He didn't even dare to look back. Leaving the Black Rock City, he didn't even dare to look back and charged into the Void Fissure. He brought his speed to maximum. He had only heard of Gowl's terrifying power. Its attacks were invisible and it's all too easy for them to possess someone. Usually after possession, they would devour the essence, blood and life force of that cultivator and then move on to a new one. Today, he saw a Gowl that was fed by countless life force. If he didn't detonate his level 9 formation, he would be in the hands of that Gowl. The Gowl's domain was beyond that of truth realization state cultivator. Luckily, Yimo had been running for his life in the void fissure quite often, and he knew where to go to hide his kai. 5 days later, that faint sense of danger was gone. Only then did Yimo breathe easy. He knew that only now did he finally escape the threat of the Gowl. He didn't get anything going to the Black Rock City but instead messed with a Gowl. Yimo took out the map Old Black gave him and immediately changed a direction. No matter what, he didn't want to stay in this void fissure anymore. He reached Disaster State here and got Suo Anshan's storage ring. What else would he be staying here for? Yimo even suspected that now, there was only him and the Gowl living. That god-beast Kuan was probably gone. After running for 6 days, even his body was covered in wounds. On the 7th day, he stopped looking dazily at a dark red void. He couldn't believe that this was the only tunnel. Old Black told him in the Jade Slip that the tunnel to leaving the void was here. This dark red was the heart of the void flame. Void flame is a type of flame marrow in the void. It has no value and can't be spirit controlled, but its temperature could melt anything. How can he leave? He was still a few kilometers from the void flame, but that heat was already unbearable. If he charged in, how could he live? Yimo carefully reached his spirit sense out, but before it even neared it, the space flame blades severed his spirit sense and the spirit sense disappeared. This flame could even melt spirit sense. Rumble. There was suddenly a huge explosion and a void flame whirlpool mixed with countless space flame blades spun. Just when Yimo didn't know what to do, that Gowl appeared in his spirit sense again. In just a moment, that Gowl would reach him. Yimo didn't dare to hesitate at all. He threw down a few formation flags and charged into that dark red void flame. Before he even got in, the armor and clothes on him completely vaporized. In just a moment, that Gowl would reach him. Yimo didn't dare to hesitate at all. He threw down a few formation flags and charged into that dark red void flame. Before he even got in, the armor and clothes on him completely vaporized. Yimo didn't dare to use Octagonal Cauldron. He immediately went into the Golden Page world. He just hoped that the Golden Page world would be fine in the void flame. Inside the Golden Page world, Yimo found that even his skin turned hot red. This void flame was so powerful, Yimo took a cold breath in. Such terrifying heat, even if one reached God state, it would be hard for the body to not break down. Yimo ate a few pills and started carefully watching the Golden Page world. After a while, he noticed it was fine, so he breathed easy. His Golden Page world was a primordial artifact birthed along with the universe. If it was so easily burned by the void flame, it wouldn't be deserving of such name. Then, Yimo started watching that Gowl. Its color turned dimmer after the formation exploded, but it was still extremely fast. That Gowl spun outside the void flame a few times. Such terrifying speed. It spun around a few times and didn't seem to want to give up like this. It tried going into the void flame. Yimo was scared. The Gowl wouldn't be this powerful, right? But soon, Yimo realized his worry was extraneous. He couldn't hear sound outside, but that Gowl probably made a painful scream. Green mist popped out of the Gowl's shadow. Yimo rejoiced. It would be best to burn this guy to death. The Gowl immediately retreated to a safe area but didn't want to leave like this. It still circulated the void flame. Knowing that the Gowl didn't dare to go in here, Yimo couldn't be bothered watching him. He threw out a few formation discs. It would disappear immediately, but it still allowed him to see the situation. He seemed to be inside a whirlpool tunnel of the void flame. There were countless void flame blades spinning and the Golden Page world kept falling in this whirlpool endlessly. Was this the only tunnel out? Yimo began to suspect Old Black's words. First of all, coming to this place wasn't 99.9% chance of dying, it was certain death. Yimo sighed. It seemed he could only rely on himself. Suddenly, Yimo thought, if Suo Anshan came here and used HF to set up a barrier, would that be able to stop the void flame? Thinking about this, Yimo even wanted to go out and test with his Mist Lotus Heartfire, but what happened to the formation disc made Yimo give up the thought. The void flame was too terrifying. If he didn't even have enough time to go into the Golden Page world, he would be dead for sure. Yimo cleansed himself and changed into a new set of clothes before picking up Suo Anshan's storage ring. His greatest accomplishment in the void was reaching disaster state in body refinement. The second was getting Suo Anshan's storage ring. He had great hopes for this. The restriction was very complicated on the storage ring, but for Yimo, it was only a matter of time. Yimo carefully removed the restriction and scanned his spirit sense inside Suo Anshan's storage ring. He was immediately dazed. It wasn't because Suo Anshan's storage ring was much larger than Fang Yizong's, but because there were more than 100 extreme-grade spirit ranges stacked together like a white dragon. All sorts of rare ores were stacked in mountains. What shook Yimo the most was that in one corner of the storage ring, there was a stone stool. Yimo immediately took it and saw there was the character fire on it. Seeing this, Yimo was overjoyed. This was one of the 5 element stools he needed. Now, his golden page world only needed one more stone stool. Clearly, Fang Yizong and Suo Anshan both knew that this stone stool was a rare treasure but didn't know what it was exactly. Perhaps putting these stone stools in other small worlds could also birth the 5 elements. Thinking about this, Yimo was worried. If that was the case, how could he search for the remaining stone stool? If some cultivator takes it, can he search storage ring by storage ring? Just how many truth realization state cultivators' storage ring did Suo Anshan search to find this? Wait, Suo Anshan has another storage ring. Yimo immediately realized he was tricked. There was no spirit stones nor too many cultivation artifact in this storage ring. There were only a few pills and a few cultivation artifact. Even in Fang Yizong's storage ring, he found 500 million spirit stones. Suo Anshan would only have more. Yet, he only found a few spirit stones and a few cultivation artifacts in this. Little did Yimo know that he actually wronged Suo Anshan. With his confidence, why would he have 2 storage ring? He was just waiting for immortal ascension. Like Yimo, only extreme-grade spirit ranges had some use to him. In this Black Rock City, spirit stones were useless. The reason he didn't have much magic artifact was because they were all in the hands of his son Suo Jiwe and his wife Xiangyang's hands. Pity Yimo didn't rob Suo Jiwe's storage ring, or he would have gotten more in there. Although Yimo guessed there was more to Suo Anshan's treasure, but he didn't care much. He already got a lot. Yimo wanted to check on the Gowl, but the formation disk was getting blurry. It was a bit too far away, so Yimo didn't keep looking. He had a lot of spirit ranges now, so he might as well use 7 to supply power to the time formation disk and start cultivating. Yimo had more materials than spirit herbs. In the West Cultivator City, the West Cultivator Merchant Association paid Elder Nyo Ruyang gave him countless materials to connect with him. Now, he got more from Suo Anshan's storage ring. He had this many extreme-grade materials to practice with. No one other than him could be this extravagant. In the time formation disk, Yimo used up level 7, level 8, level 9 and even extreme-grade materials like trash. With this much practice and blue-color mist lotus heartfire, his low-grade cultivation artifact was perfected in a month in the time formation disk. 3 months later, Yimo could easily forge middle-grade cultivation artifact. 6 months later, Yimo was happy with the top-grade cultivation artifact he was forging. A year later, Yimo forged his first extremely high-quality extreme-grade cultivation artifact. Then, he went on a roll. As long as the material grades were enough, all he forged was extreme-grade cultivation artifact. And he used more than half of the material stack. Looking at the wasted materials, Yimo sighed. Using extreme-grade spirit ranges to power the time formation disk, using level 9 and extreme-grade materials for practice. Owning the 3-birth chant and the mist lotus heartfire, if he still couldn't become a top-grade forgery grandmaster, he can give up. At this degree, Yimo knew there was no point in continuing practice. 1 grade above would be immortal artifact. Even if he found the materials for it, he wouldn't be able to do it in his golden page world. There were divine damnation for immortal artifact in the cultivation realm. The golden page world was incomplete, so there wouldn't be divine damnation. Yimo put away the time formation disk and got up. He was pondering, a level 9 pill king, level 9 formation grandmaster and level 9 forgery grandmaster. Was this something a cultivator could achieve? Perhaps I should start learning rune making. Yimo shook his head. Of course, he wasn't really going to do that. His side cultivation means all reached the peak, yet his cultivation level was still truth realization state primary stage, and his body refinement wasn't even at God state yet. He had been in the golden page world for a month. Yimo threw out a few more formation discs out, wanting to know where the golden page world was at. This time, Yimo found it was better than before. He could look through it a little longer. The golden page world had stopped and the space around it was still dark red, but there wasn't any more void flame blades and whirlpools. This time, Yimo found it was better than before. He could look through it a little longer. The golden page world had stopped and the space around it was still dark red, but there wasn't any more void flame blades and whirlpools. Yimo carefully moved the golden page world into some places and found that the temperature here was much milder than outside. Just in case, Yimo watched for a long time and confirmed that the temperature here was indeed as he thought. It was much lower. There was dark red everywhere and no exit. Yimo knew if he didn't leave the golden page world, he wouldn't be able to find an exit for sure. Thinking about this, Yimo took the golden page world to the place where the formation disc lasted the longest, drank half of the Kuan blood before gritting his teeth and leaving the golden page world. The instant that he left, he felt the explosive power of the Kuan blood. Before he ate drop, by now he ate more than 10 at once. Yimo was about to use octagonal cauldron or mist lotus heartfire for a barrier first. However, Yimo felt that the temperature was much lower than above and the rustling Kuan blood spirit power made him want the void flame to burn his body. Yimo used the 3 birth chant and 3 god body refinement chant to strengthen his meridian's body. Meanwhile, he was thinking of an article he saw in a university library. It said that the inner flame has the lowest temperature and the outer flame has the highest temperature. Outside the void flame he wouldn't even be able to survive for a second, but here, he could defend against the power using the Kuan blood. Time passed second by second and Yimo went from being tortured to defending against the void flame. He once again sunk into a state of zero self-awareness. His skin, meridians, and bones were being torn, strengthened, reorganized again and again. Yimo even felt that the essence of the Kuan blood completely turned into nourishment for his body. He reached disaster state middle stage without trouble, disaster state tertiary stage, disaster state peak. Yimo just realized that body refinement had nothing to do with power. The reason he relied on power before was because practicing body refinement in a place that was tougher than his body by tens of times, he might easily be ripped apart. But now, he was completely just refining his body and setting his cultivation level aside. Yimo suddenly woke up at disaster state peak. He felt that the pressure on him seemed to be reduced. It could only burn his skin. Now, Yimo realized that only those who reached God state body refinement was a true king. Thus, Yimo's eyes flashed with certainty as he drank all of the remaining Kuan blood without hesitation. If he didn't enter God state, he wouldn't be able to go around here easily nor find a real exit. The Kuan blood ravaged inside his body again, but this time, Yimo was prepared. He rose up slowly. He even felt that this place was the perfect place to reach God state. His skin and meridians were being torn and rebuilt again and again. If he wasn't disaster state peak, he wouldn't be able to endure this inhuman torture. But Yimo didn't retreat at all. He knew clearly that body refinement was a process of sadistically torturing his body. Compared to others, he had all sorts of pills and the best body refinement cultivation method. If he still couldn't reach God state in the heart of the void flame, Yimo felt he would be stuck in disaster state forever unless he ascended into the immortal realm. This was because he wouldn't be able to find a place like this again. So what if his power reached truth realization state peak stage? Would he be able to find a place like this again? Crack! Yimo was happy when he heard this cracking sound. Before, his bones only broke a little but didn't break on a large scale. Large-scale breaking meant his bones were being rebuilt. Indeed, the 3 god body refinement chant made his bones heal in a very short time. Crack! Yimo suddenly felt comfortable. The terrifying void flame didn't feel as scorching as before. When it flew past his body, it was like tepid water. Yimo suddenly got up and checked his bones and skin. His meridians were very distinct and cultivation essence flew in the wide but solid meridians. The broken bones had formed again, emitting a faint golden color. Yimo reached out his hand. It was flawless and his skin was smooth like silk but very white. Yimo was speechless. He didn't like being too white. His body was too perfect. He didn't expect reaching God state had such benefits. Now, he was more certain that no one could reach God state in the Black Rock City. Even Suo Anshan's God state was fake. Only his God state was real. Now, Yimo knew how terrifying God state body refinement was. If Suo Anshan reached God state, he wouldn't sustain such heavy injuries in the level 9 formation detonation. He said he was God state to fear the cultivators of the city. Yimo didn't go up to feel the temperature above. Although he was God state body refinement now and would be able to survive, he still didn't want to do this. He didn't need to go up anymore. Yimo changed into a new set of clothes and started searching for an exit at the bottom. A few days later, Yimo felt hardship. He had completely searched this place over. It was, as Old Black said, a place to leave to the void, but Yimo found he had to tear open the dimension to leave. Yimo tested and found that this place was indeed the weakest part of the void. He wasn't afraid that he couldn't tear open space. Even if he couldn't now, he had this many spirit range, and if he reached truth realization state middle stage in the Golden Page world, he would be able to tear open the dimension by burning essence blood. What troubled him was there were many directions of tearing open space. If he didn't tear a dimension opening to Luoyu and went to some other realm instead, how would he get back to Luoyu? Yimo thought for a few days and decided to increase his power first. In the Golden Page world, Yimo sat in the spirit gathering formation made with extreme grade spirit range and devoured spirit Kai like crazy in the time formation disk. The spirit Kai was so dense that it was raining down. The spirit herbs grew rapidly. This time, Yimo's cultivation motion was too huge. Such terrifying spirit Kai whirlpool, even Shadowless was woken up. Shadowless changed colors again. This time it didn't turn gold but faint blue. It was many times faster than before. It flew up and spun around Yimo before landing on the bitter bamboo. After cultivating in the time formation disk for a year, Yimo stopped. He came out and barely reached truth realization state level 3. With this speed, he would need more than a decade to reach truth realization state middle stage. Yimo felt he was used to using immortal crystals. He wasn't used to using immortal crystals anymore. It wasn't very effective for him. Truth realization state level 3 was this hard to reach. Reaching truth realization state middle stage and above would be 10 times harder. Truth realization state tertiary stage would even worse. Yimo felt he was used to using immortal crystals. He wasn't used to using immortal crystals anymore. It wasn't very effective for him. Truth realization state level 3 was this hard to reach. Reaching truth realization state middle stage and above would be 10 times harder. Truth realization state tertiary stage would even worse. If he didn't have immortal crystals, Yimo estimated that even if these 100 extreme grade spirit range could let him reach truth realization state peak stage, it would take 100 or even a few hundred years. Yimo sighed. He just wanted immortal crystals to power the time formation disk. But he knew this was something that an entire cultivation realm couldn't satisfy. Immortal crystals was something of the immortal realm. If it was everywhere in the cultivation realm, it wouldn't be called immortal crystals. Yimo regretted the most that he didn't get more immortal crystals from the Sand River. If he could get a few hundred, he wouldn't be troubled like this. Truth realization state level 3, Yimo knew that he might stay at this cultivation level for a long time. He came out of the Golden Page world. He had to make a decision now. He went around the bottom for a long while before choosing 2 directions. He felt both were fine. After thinking again and again, he chose the one closer to him. Then, Yimo used all the cultivation essence in his body and ripped at the space in front of him. The powerful cultivation essence caused the dimension to destabilize. But this didn't have any effect. He didn't rip open the void. There was no place to exert this cultivation essence and it came back at him, making him spit blood. Yimo was shook. He realized with his current power he wouldn't be able to open up this void. Even in the weakest place in the entire void fissure, his power was still too low. The void was stronger than he had thought, but Yimo didn't give up. He had another way, that was to self-destruct level 9 formation. He felt he was really influenced by Shatar. This was the only way he could think of now. This time, Yimo set up a level 9 trap formation. After the trap formation detonated, the explosive power would be gathered in one spot. This would help him greatly in tearing open space. As a level 9 forgery grandmaster and level 9 formation grandmaster, Yimo used 3 days to set up a top-grade level 9 trap formation without holding back on the materials he used. In order to make the explosion more powerful, Yimo even threw in half an extreme-grade spirit range. Half an extreme-grade spirit range. Not even an ordinary 9-star sect might have this in Luoyu continent, but Yimo just threw it out like that. After getting ready, Yimo spat some essence blood at the life gate and detonated the formation he just set up. Yimo didn't even go into the golden page world in order to find the weakest part in the void dimension. Rumble, terrifying explosion sounded at the bottom of the void flame. The entire void flame seemed like an annoyed beehive and burst out. Streams of void flame shot everywhere, and the Gowl who was still around here didn't expect this terrifying event would happen. Even though it left in time, it was still splashed by countless void flames. The Gowl grew dimmer and dimmer, not daring to stay around here anymore. It shrieked and ran into the endless void. The flame marrow also splashed out and immediately smashed on Yimo's body, bringing up large pieces of skin and flesh. Yimo once again felt a tearing sensation. He was about to faint. He was certain that if he wasn't God state, he would turn into dust immediately. Yimo, however, instead charged towards the center of the explosion. He burned many mouths of essence blood and once again tore with all his power in the weakest part. Screech! Yimo felt his hands lighten and a dark space appeared before him. Yimo didn't care what this dark space was and just charged inside. As soon as he did, the void fissure healed up. This was less than a second. If Yimo went into the golden page world the moment the formation detonated, he wouldn't be able to make it out in time. What Yimo saw was a dark night sky. He could only charge into the golden page world before falling unconscious again. The damage of the formation and the burning of his cultivation essence used up all of his power. The golden page world seemed like a golden dot in the starry night sky, flying everywhere in the air currents. A meteor smashed into the golden page world, taking it with it as it shot into the atmosphere. Shooting star! I saw a shooting star fall into the sea by the beach, a young girl screamed. Don't lie, shooting stars come out at night. Even if there were shooting stars in the day, why would it fall into the sea? The young woman reproached. The girl said stubbornly, Mum, I really saw shooting star. It really fell into the sea. Okay, you're not allowed to watch TV tonight, sleep earlier. The woman said unhappily. When Yimo woke up, he immediately ate a pill and threw out a formation disc. He saw the large amount of sea water and immediately rejoiced. This meant that he wasn't in the void anymore, he was on land. There was no earth, water nor mountains in the void fissure. Although Yimo's injuries were serious, it was nothing compared to the torture he went through reaching God state. In a short time, he had completely recovered. Yimo gave himself a few clear water spells and changed into a new set of clothes. At the same time he left the golden page world, he formed a cultivation essence barrier on the surface of his body so the sea water wouldn't drench his clothes. Yimo couldn't wait to see where he was. As soon as he went out of the ocean, he scanned his spirit sense out. Moments later, Yimo was dazed on the beach. He took back his spirit sense. He knew he was back, but no on Luoyu but back on Earth. Yimo frowned, but he soon calmed down. He was happy. He could go back and check on things. If he got the fish tail from the fish jump through Dragon Gate, he could go back to Luoyu at any time, or he could use the teleportation formation at Duanheng mountain ranges and go to the small world. Then he would go to Luoyu from there. The only pity was that Su Jingwen and Ning Qingxue didn't come with him. They missed Earth much more than him. Yimo sighed. If he could cultivate to a point where he could tear open the space between Earth and Luoyu easily, then it would be so great. When Yimo came back to his senses, he saw a little girl standing not far from him. She looked at him with big bright eyes. "Big brother, your clothes are really strange. Is this your filming costume?" the girl asked, but then she asked again, "No, you're not an actor, I just saw you come out of the sea. How come your clothes aren't wet? Are you an immortal?" Thinking about his cultivator robes, Imo quickly changed the subject. "Why are you here alone? Where's your parents?" "My mum is over there." The little girl pointed at a row of houses near the beach and said, "I saw a shooting star fall into the sea during the day. Mum said I lied to her. She said that when you see a shooting star you can make a wish. I came to make a wish. My mum is over there." The little girl pointed at a row of houses near the beach and said, "I saw a shooting star fall into the sea during the day. Mum said I lied to her. She said that when you see a shooting star you can make a wish. I came to make a wish." Imo was speechless. Her parents were too irresponsible, they didn't even know that the kid came out of the house. Seeing there seemed to be lights flashing at where the girl pointed. He immediately knew someone was looking for her, so he said, "Quickly go back, I need to go." The girl didn't go and asked instead, "I haven't made a wish yet. By the way, big brother, are you that shooting star? I saw you come over from the direction of the shooting star." This little girl was very cute, but Imo didn't have the mood to talk with her. Just when he wanted to leave, his spirit sense scanned that there were two men with their face covered hiding in the kitchen. Imo saw there was a small red bag in the room with the words Ning Feifei. "Your name is Feifei?" Imo asked. The little girl nodded, "Yes, I'm Ning Feifei." This girl was so young that she didn't think about why Imo knew her name. She thought it was natural that everyone called her Feifei. Imo changed his mind. He quickly took off his cultivator robes and changed into earthly clothes. But before he could put his shirt on, a torch flashed over already. "Feifei." A desperate voice sounded. Imo saw this person was familiar, he immediately recognized who she was. It was Ning Qingshue's niece Ning Xuyan. Imo frowned, he really didn't like this girl, he even hated her. When he first saw her, she was not even 20, but now, she was in her 30s. He only saw her once at the Ning family when he went to find Ning Fusion. She was named the second beauty of the Ning family. Now, she was on a completely different level to Ning Qingxue. Ning Qingxue was getting younger and younger, while Ning Xuyan, although well preserved, still couldn't stop the marks of time. The two masked men were targeting her. Yi Mo immediately realized. If it was just Ning Xuyan, he really couldn't be bothered, but Ning Feifei was very cute. He had a daughter too. Pedophile. The young girl behind Yi Mo saw the scene and was about to call the police. "Wait." Ning Xuyan charged up to Ning Feifei and pulled her to her side before stopping the girl. She whispered, "Feifei is fine and the police won't arrive anytime soon, if we anger him." Realizing this, the young girl immediately was worried but didn't keep calling the police. Ning Xuyan looked vigilantly at Yi Mo. She couldn't see Yi Mo's face clearly without the moon. The young girl also pointed at Yi Mo. "Feifei is so young and you dare to do that? Are you still a human? There are so many nightclubs outside, if you don't have money I'll give you some. Why do this to a little girl? You. Yi Mo was shook at these words. This girl was really imaginative. She probably didn't say worse things for fearing he would attack. Yi Mo thought and immediately realized what was going on. Their touch probably flashed on him when he wasn't wearing his shirt. "Sis Wang, let's go back first," Ning Xuyan quickly said, as though not wanting to offend Yi Mo. The young girl nodded and didn't dare to say anything. After all, this was by the sea in the middle of the night. Yi Mo was shook, he saw how cocky Ning Xuyan was before. She was going to push Yi Mo's friend Ning Lan out of the Ning family mansion and was going to slap her. Yet after these years, she changed so much. "Feifei, let's go back first," the young girl said. "MHM." Feifei nodded and said to Yi Mo, "Immortal big brother, come with us. We live next to the sea, it's very pretty." The young girl immediately began to frustrate hearing this and quickly whispered to Feifei's ears, "Feifei, this person isn't a good person. He tricked you here so he can sell you. Luckily me and your mother came." Ning Feifei immediately rebuked, "Auntie, you're lying. Big brother is an immortal. He transformed from that shooting star in the day. How can he be bad? If you keep saying that I'm not going to like you. Ning Xuyen and Siswang frowned. The young girl was scared of Yi Mo but still said coldly to him, is there a point to trick little kids like this? Don't think you have us for sure. I'll call the police immediately. Siswang, stop, let's go. Ning Xuyen stopped the girl. Yi Mo was speechless. He wasn't planning to go to Ning Feifei's place. There were two masked guys there but he had countless ways to take them away. He still wanted to ask Ning Fuzhen if he got that fishtail back. Yi Mo hesitated for a long time before giving a defense bracelet to Ning Feifei. This is for you, I'm going. Yi Mo thought even if the thing is somewhere else it is all too easy for his spirit sense to find Ning Xuyen. With his spirit sense, he can scan anywhere on Earth. Finding someone was much easier than finding the fish tail. Yi Mo only had to scan roughly with his spirit sense to find someone, but in order to find the fish tail he would have to scan every corner. That would use up a lot of spirit sense. Even Yi Mo didn't want to do that. The worst quality thing on Yi Mo was a top-grade spirit artifact bracelet. Thank you, immortal big brother, you must go to my place. You can see the sea from the window, it's really pretty. Ning Feifei already put the bracelet on her wrist. Even Ning Xuyen and the young girl realized that they probably wronged Yi Mo. Clearly Yi Mo wasn't the type of person they thought him to be, otherwise how can he be so calm now? Realizing this, the young girl said to Feifei quietly, Feifei, how did you come here? Ning Feifei raised her lips. I said I saw a shooting star in the day and you guys didn't believe me. I came to make a wish and I saw immortal big brother come out of the sea. He must be that shooting star. Realizing what happened, the two felt quite awkward. The young girl apologized to Yi Mo. Sorry, big brother, we misunderstood you before. Thanks for taking care of Feifei. That bracelet is too precious, Feifei can't take it. Then, the girl was going to take it off. Yi Mo waved his hand and smiled. It's fine, I just needed some fresh air so I came out for a walk. Then I met Feifei, I feel we're quite fated so I gave her a bracelet. Ning Xuyen also apologized. Thanks for taking care of Feifei, we live in the sea view house over there, do you want to come in for a cup of water? Ning Xuyen was just being polite but Yi Mo immediately nodded. Okay, I'm a bit thirsty too. Hearing this, the two dazed. They thought Yi Mo would reject for sure. The two looked at each other and showed some vigilance. But they already invited Yi Mo and he agreed, they can't just say we don't want you over anymore, leave. Ning Xuyen forced a smile and said let's go. Ning Xuyen forced a smile and said let's go. How could Yi Mo not know what she thought, but he pretended he didn't know and came with them to Ning Xuyen's place. It was a holiday resort but wasn't open to public. It was only open to people with status. Ning Xuyen calmed down instead now. Regardless, Yi Mo had come in. As for Siswang, who intentionally left the door open, Yi Mo ignored that. He had two purposes here, one to take away those two masked guys and another to ask about the fish tails. I'll help you get some water. Ning Xuyen just wanted Yi Mo to leave after drinking water, so she said desperately. She didn't even dare to look at Yi Mo and hurried to get water. Meanwhile, the young girl was dazed after seeing Yi Mo's face in the light. She had never seen a man with such aesthetics. The edges on his face was very distinct. Perhaps he wasn't the most handsome, but he was the most perfectly shaped. The only thing was his skin was a little too white. What shook him was that this man was filled with this immortal temperament. This made her want to get close to this man. In fact, cultivators do have a faint spiritual temperament. Any cultivator had this. Cultivators saw it every day so they were used to it, but this girl saw it for the first time. Most cultivators were very promiscuous and just slept with whoever they liked. Those cultivators would have lesser spiritual temperament and more of a mixed kai. Yi Mo's life was very strict. Other than his wives, he never touched another woman. Plus he has been cultivating beside the bitter bamboo, so comparatively, Yi Mo had much greater immortal temperament. Ning Xuyen was just about to pass the cup of water to Yi Mo, but the moment she saw Yi Mo, she was extremely shook. Her hands shook and the cup fell out of her hands. No matter how perfect Yi Mo's body was, his looks were still there. It looked exactly the same as before but with more temperament. Yimo smiled and didn't move, and that cup was somehow in his hands. Ning Xuyen said dazedly after a long while, you're Yimo. Yimo put the cup down and smiled. That's right, I'm Yimo. Ning Xuyen heard this and her eyes went red as she knelt down in front of Yimo. Tears covered her face. Yimo frowned and pulled her up. If there's something, just say it, no need to be like this. Meanwhile, the young girl screamed at Yimo in surprise and joy. You're Yimo? My brother-in-law? Yimo looked at this young girl. She did look a little like Ning Qingxue. She wasn't as pretty as her, but she had this youthful energy. Was this Ning Qingshue's sister? But Yimo knew Ning Qingxue didn't have a sister. The young girl said again, brother-in-law, I'm Ning Siswang, my sister is Ning Qingxue. Where are you living with my sister? Where is she? Did she come back? I've never seen my sister. Yimo looked at this girl who was 16 and suddenly realized. He had left Earth for so many years. Ning Zhonfei and Lan Yu had another child. Ning Xuyen calmed down and wiped her face. Ever since Qingxue left, Sishuang's parents have been thinking of her a lot. Then they had Siswang. The name means, keen to see frost, as when frost came Shue would hear. Shue means snow, Yimo exclaimed. Time really flew by. Ning Xuyen's sister was even 16 now. Yes, brother-in-law, is my sister all right? Ning Siswang said again. Xian, and I saw you not wearing clothes before and we thought you were a bad person. Then Ning Xuyen poked out her tongue and quickly closed the door and added locked it. Yimo wanted laugh. Putting that lock on only meant they couldn't escape, but Yimo felt warm at heart. Ning Siswang clearly considered him as family. But Yimo knew that Ning Xuyen's family and Ning Zhongfei's family had great conflict. Why were the two together now and seemed very close? But Yimo wasn't interested in asking. By the way, brother-in-law, why are you still so young? Is my sister as young as you? Ning Siswang asked. Yimo waved his hand. Xuyen, what did you want to say? If I can help you, I will. Ning Xuyen nodded and sniffed because there was no outstanding talent in the Ning family and the great-grandpa knows this, so he gradually changed the focus of the family to business. Because we still have quite a solid foundation, in a few years we're a world-renowned family corporation. Ning Siswang nodded yes, Xuyen, like my sister, is a business prodigy. There wasn't anyone skillful in the Ning family, so Grandpa gave the Ning family's business authority to sister Xuyen. Under her management, in a few years the Ning family light energy electronic products swept the world, becoming the second biggest in the industry after Luo Yu. Then, Ning Siswang looked carefully at Yimo. My grandpa wanted to settle at Luo Yu City, but City Lord Huang didn't dare to agree, saying that he didn't have your order. Eventually, my grandpa passed away unhappily but put more than 80% of the Ning family's assets under Xuyen's name. Ning Xuyen intervened. Great-grandpa said, think about calamity and live peacefully and die. He said more than once that the reason the Ning family didn't have someone like was that they lived too peacefully. So, great-grandpa wanted everyone to go out and fight. As for putting the assets under my name, it's just for me to manage. But I upset great-grandpa's expectations. Ning Xuyen sniffed and couldn't even speak anymore. With Yimo's experience, how could he not know that business went wrong under her management? Ning Xuyen said again after calming down a little, I was managing grandpa's business so it was fine. At the prime of our Ning family electronic business, I met Fang Chong. He came back from Cambridge University. He was much better at managing business than me. He eventually became my assistant and took the Ning family electronics to a higher level. I wasn't planning to marry soon, but Fang Chong was too nice to me and I can't leave him. We married and had Fei Fei. Mum, Fang Chong is my dad, right? Ning Fei Fei asked. Ning Xuyen quickly said to Fei Fei, Fei Fei, go watch TV first. Fei Fei was obedient and went to watch TV. Ning Xuyen continued. Fang Chong agreed to everything I said, but after having Fei Fei, he wanted Fei Fei to have the Ning last name and let the second child have the Fang last name. Perhaps this was a long time ago and Ning Xuyen calmed down. Then there was news from Luo Yu that light power electronics were gradually being replaced by bioelectronics and Luo Yu's bioelectronics were mature. Even the world-renowned electronic corporations were beginning to research bioelectronics. Once the technology became mature, light electronics would be soon replaced. Fang Chong was very worried and we were planning to invest large sums of money to research bioelectronics. Perhaps this was a long time ago and Ning Xuyan calmed down. Then there was news from Luo Yu that light power electronics were gradually being replaced by bioelectronics and Luo Yu's bioelectronics were mature. Even the world-renowned electronic corporations were beginning to research bioelectronics. Once the technology became mature, light electronics would be soon replaced. Fang Chong was very worried and we were planning to invest large sums of money to research bioelectronics. Bioelectronics? Yimo frowned. He could understand light electronics, but this bioelectronics was something he didn't understand at all. Ning Xuyan nodded. Light electronics need light to work. At night, it wouldn't work, so it would need light storage devices to kickstart. Light storage was inconvenient and more costly than electricity. Meanwhile, bioelectronics can work at any time. It can even use the physical particles in the air to work. Yimo frowned. He definitely wouldn't believe that technology had this huge of a leap in a decade or so. This was an era-defining evolution. Yimo immediately said, "You believed that? No matter how fast technology advances, it can't be this fast." Ning Xuyan nodded. "I didn't believe it, but Fang Chong's friend stole out a bioelectronic rice cooker from this bioelectric company. It didn't have any light storage device or other energy sources but could work non-stop no matter where. It could cook rice anywhere." Even all the engineers in the company confirmed that it was indeed bioelectronics. "There's such thing?" Yimo asked in disbelief. Ning Siswang said, "Yes, brother-in-law, this bioelectric rice cooker was broadcasted on news too." Ning Xuyan sniffed, but she continued. "After that, everyone was discussing the bioelectric rice cooker. Although bioelectric products haven't come out yet, the sales of light electronic products have reduced greatly. Everyone was waiting for the arrival of bioelectric products. I was very worried as our Ning family's main source of profit was light electronic products. If bioelectronic products were invented and other companies sold it, then our Ning family business would collapse if we didn't have the technology too." "So you agreed to Fang Chong's request to invest in bioelectronic research?" Yimo asked. Ning Xuyan nodded. "Yes. Fang Chong told me to invest less at the start, but I was desperate and didn't listen to him. We invested more and more, and just when I didn't dare to invest more, Fang Chong suddenly told me that the bioelectronic research was complete. But at this moment things happened. We were sued by the company who made the rice cooker. They said that our Ning family stole their model and their research product. They requested that we compensate for their loss and hand over all bioelectric research results. Ning Xuyan said because bioelectronics was a new technology, the compensation they asked was astronomical. Even if we sold everything, we would barely be able to pay it. Fang Chong felt he owed me as he caused this. If he didn't find his friend to steal that, this wouldn't happen. He left behind his last words and took all the blame, saying this had nothing to do with the Ning family electronics, and then he suicided. Ning Xuyan sniffed again. Ning Siswang picked up some tissue and comforted Ning Xuyan. Yimo had never seen Fang Chong and didn't know what sort of person he was, but his meticulous habit in the cultivation realm made him realize at least two holes in her words. First, how discreet was bioelectronic product research? How could Fang Chong's friend steal it? Plus, it has been stolen for that long and the rice cooker even went on TV. The Ning family also completed the technology research and then that company reacted. Second, if the technology was so developed, why hasn't mature products gone on market yet? Yimo asked, "Are those bioelectric products on sale in the market yet?" Ning Xuyan shook her head. "Not yet. That company wanted to, but due to the court case with our Ning family, the police announced that only when the copyright to the technology was distinct could these products go on markets. So all the critics help that company as everyone wants this to end so the products would go on the market." Ning Siswang said, "I saw Xuyan being very confused, so I came with her and Feifei to the seaside to loosen up. In a few days, when all the Ning family assets are gone, I'm planning to let Xuyan come with me to Luo Yu City." "How's Luo Yu City?" Yimo asked casually. Ning Siswang nodded. "It's very good, it's very pretty, and City Lord Huang is very nice. He often visits my parents." Yimo nodded. Huang Yinian didn't forget his roots. Ning Xuyen looked worriedly at Yi Mo. When all of the Ning family assets are gone, I have nowhere to go. Siswang said for me to go Luoyu. Ning Xuyen sighed. Luoyu city belongs to everyone now, go if you want. I don't really have an opinion about it anyways. Thank you. Ning Xuyen said. Yi Mo didn't mind. Just call me Yi Mo, I just me back today. I haven't been back to Luoyu yet. I also have something to ask you. Suddenly, Yi Mo asked, where is that rice cooker? It's been taken by the police, it's evidence, it wouldn't be kept here. Ning Xuyen said sadly, all our research products have been locked up by the police. Before this is over, we can't take it out. Although Yi Mo knew this was very suspicious, but he had no intentions of helping. He would go visit Su Jingwen's mother and then go back to Luoyu. But then, since the person behind all this already got the Ning family assets, why send people here? Were the two masked men related to this? Ning Xuyen suddenly asked Yi, what did you want to ask me before? Yi Mo nodded and said, to the kitchen, you two can come out. Before the two realized what Yi Mo meant, two masked men came out from the kitchen. One of them had a knife. Ning Siswang screamed. She didn't expect there were two people hiding there. Ning Xuyen's face changed drastically and ran up to Fei Fei, protecting her. But then, the two's eyes were full of shock, as though they didn't dare to believe. When Yi Mo told them to come out, they weren't planning to listen to Yi Mo, but their bodies moved out on their own. They can't move at all other than walk. The two girls looked dazedly as the two masked men walk up to Yi Mo and kneel on the ground, pulling down their masks obediently. What are you guys doing here? Yi Mo asked calmly. We came to take Fei Fei. The two answered. We came to take Fei Fei. The two answered. Yi Mo felt bewildered. He thought the two were related to Ning Xuyen. Who told you to come? Yi Mo asked again. Our corporate boss. What is your corporation? What is your boss's name? 11 Tang Corporation. Boss is called Dongfang Chong. Shi Tang again. Our Ning family has given the entire company to Shi Tang. What else do you want? You want Fei Fei, keep dreaming. I won't let Fei Fei leave no matter what. Ning Xuyen raged. Yi Mo sighed, don't you understand? That Dongfang Chong is your husband, he came to steal your Ning family electronics. Ning Xuyen was dumbfounded. After a long while she suddenly said, that's impossible, this is impossible. Fang Chong was that nice to me and even gave up his life for us too. Yi Mo said no more. It didn't matter if Ning Xuyen believed it or not. Shi Tang Corporation, clearly this was related to the Dongfang family again. Dongfang Chong spent many years stealing the Ning family wealth. According to his knowledge of Dongfang Wang, this wasn't his style. Even if this fortune was given to Dongfang Wang for free, he would at most nod. If Dongfang Wang planned this, Yi Mo was certain it would be less than half a year and the Ning family wealth would change name. Ning Siswang comforted Ning Xuyen, don't get agitated, let me ask clearly. Ning Siswang asked the two men, is Dongfang Chong Fang Chong? Was he at the Ning family corporation before? But Ning Siswang's words had no power. Yi Mo grunted and the two men shivered. Reply, yes, we were at the Ning family corporation with boss before. Ning Xuyen's face went pale immediately, but she soon calmed down. When she saw clearly the two men's faces, she pointed at the two. You were the electronics specialists that Feng Chong brought to research bioelectronics? Yi Mo sneered. The two's hands were full of calluses. They were clearly killers. No, we didn't invent bioelectronic products. Hearing this, Ning Xuyen realized what was going on. She didn't know why Fang Chong tricked her, but she realized she was tricked. Yi Mo released the two's binding. They were drenched in sweat and looked fearfully at Yi Mo, not daring to do anything. Did Fang Chong not die? Which body was it before? Ning Xuyen asked powerlessly. The two immediately replied, yes, boss sent us. Boss also told us not to harm you, Shut up. Ning Xuyen yelled. Yi Mo suddenly asked Dongfang Wang wouldn't use such trash means. Where is Dongfang Wang? The two shivered, they were scared of Yi Mo's the most. Yi Mo's force made them unable to move. The slightly fatter man answered, young master went to the fabled small world. He left from the Duanheng mountain ranges. Yi Mo was planning to kill Dongfang Wang first, but he wasn't here. Lucky him, piss off. Yi Mo said to the two coldly. Hearing this, the two quickly rushed out, but they were so desperate that they took a while to even open the door. They disappeared immediately as they left. Yi Mo was too scary for them. Ning Sishuang and Ning Xuyen looked strangely at Yi Mo as though not expecting Yi Mo to let them go so easily. Ning Sishuang heard a lot of tales about her brother-in-law. It seemed that her brother-in-law was too easy to talk to now, and some of the tales weren't true. According to the stories, her brother-in-law wouldn't let these two go. But she didn't know what Yi Mo was thinking. If it was some ordinary robbery, Yi Mo would turn them into dust, but the Dongfang family was a different story. He needed to deal with Dongfang Wang, but Dongfang Wang wasn't here. However, there was that Dongfang Chong that he couldn't allow to live. He wanted to annihilate the entire family, so he let the two go. With his spirit sense, as long as these two were still on Earth, they wouldn't be able to leave. Xuyen, don't feel bad. Brother-in-law had agreed you can come with me to Luoyu City with Fei Fei. Luoyu is really pretty, Ning Sishuang said, seeing Ning Xuyen's pale face. Ning Xuyen shook her head after a while, but the bioelectric Fang Chong brought back was real. It didn't need any light power or electric power. Ning Sishuang also looked at Yi Mo, not understanding what this was. Yi Mo smiled. That rice cooker was definitely designed by Yi Xing. He likes to do these sort of things when he's bored. The Dongfang family stayed in power at Luoyu for so long, it's normal they can bring out such things. As for power, this thing might not even be as good as light power. It's using an energy source called Extreme Energy Stone. This energy source is brought by asteroids, there's none on Earth, so that's it. Ning Xuyen murmured and felt powerless. Everyone had been tricked. Brother-in-law, where is my sister? Ning Sishuang asked. Yi Mo answered she can't come back yet. When I'm done with these things, I will go to Luoyu City, but don't worry, she's very fine. Then, Yi Mo took out a crystal ball. This is where your sister and I live, have a look. Ning Sishuang took the crystal ball and immediately saw an extreme beautiful scene. This was recorded when Yi Mo took Qingxue and Luo Ying back to Moyu City. Such a beautiful place, brother-in-law, is that sister Luo Ying? She's so pretty, so is my sister. Ning Sishuang was very proud of her looks before, but now seeing Luo Ying and Ning Qingxue, she felt uneasy. But she forgot about that quickly and grabbed the crystal ball. How did you make this crystal ball? Can I have it? Take it. Yi Mo nodded. He meant to give this to her anyways. Brother-in-law, just stay here today, you can sleep in my room. I can squeeze with Xuyen and Fei Fei. Ning Sishuang still had a lot to ask, so she didn't want Yi Mo to go. Yi Mo shook his head. No need, I'm going immediately. Then he looked at Ning Xuyen. I want to ask you, did you great-grandpa ask back that fishtail? It was this indeed. Ning Xuyen guessed that Yi Mo came here to ask about that. Now it seemed she was right, so she answered without hesitation, yes. Great-grandpa knew that you took the two fish tails seriously, so he went to Japan and got the two tails back. Great-grandpa was going to Luoyu himself to give it to you, but not long after, Great-grandpa's health deteriorated, so he gave the two fish tails to me before he passed away, telling me to give it to you if I ever saw you. I let the fish tails in a safety box in a Ninghai bank. Ning Sishuang suddenly said, I see. The key you told me to give to my sister was meant for my brother-in-law? Yes. Ning Xuyen nodded. Seeing Yi Mo look at her, Ning Sishuang quickly said, the key isn't on me, it's in my dorm. Seeing Yi Mo look at her, Ning Sishuang quickly said, the key isn't on me, it's in my dorm. I'm also studying at Ninghai University. I'll be going back the day after tomorrow. Why don't you stay here today and we can go back to Ninghai together? Then we can go back to Luoyu. Yi Mo breathed easy, the fish tails were safe. He got up and said, then I will go find you at Ninghai Uni. I still have some things tonight, I'll be going. Ning Sishuang didn't expect Yi Mo to go this quickly. She was scared Yi Mo would leave for another decade again. It's so late, why don't you stay here for a night? We can find a place to stay tomorrow and then leave together the day after. Ning Xuyen said. Yi Mo shook his head and said to Sishuang, I'll go find you at Ninghai in Wo days. Fei Fei had fallen asleep, so Yi Mo didn't disturb her. After Yi Mo left for a long while, Ning Siswang remembered Yi Mo didn't have a plane ticket and wanted to remind him, but Yi Mo was gone. My brother-in-law doesn't even have a plane ticket, how can he got to Ninghai? Ning Siswang said desperately. Ning Shuyan shook her head. I heard great-grandpa say that if it's something your brother-in-law decides, he can do it. Don't worry. 3 hours later, when it was almost dawn, an ordinary SUV covered in dust parked outside a suburban mansion. 2 people got off. It was the 2 people planning to take Fei Fei. As soon as they came out, they rushed into the mansion. Before they knocked, the door already opened. Clearly the person inside was waiting for these 2. Where is she? They heard a cold voice. We didn't bring her back. The skinnier man replied. The man said coldly again, then what are you doing back here? I let them come back. Yi Mo's voice sounded. Yi Mo saw there were already 3 people inside the mansion sitting around a round table as though waiting for the 2. The 2 men turned back in horror and said in shock, it's you? They didn't see anyone following them on the way, but someone did come here. How did this person follow them? The 2 really couldn't understand, but thinking about how they couldn't even move in front of Yi Mo, they were very worried. It's you? The man speaking before said in shock, you're called Dongfang Chong? The one who tricked Shuyan? Yi Mo scanned the man. Boss, we didn't finish the mission because of him. The fat man was scared of Yi Mo but more scared of his boss. Yi Mo smiled and threw out 2 fireballs casually. The 2 men disappeared instantly without a sound. The 2 men next to Dongfang Chong got up in shock. After a while, Dongfang Chong said, you're back indeed. Yi Mo, that's right, I'm the Dongfang Chong you're looking for. Yi Mo shook his head in disappointment. The person I want to kill is Dongfang Wang. Sigh, it's only a small fish here. Where did that Dongfang Wang go? I'm certain he isn't here, otherwise how can he use such low means to trick that little wealth of the Ning family? Dongfang Chong gasped and said the young master had left. One day, he would come back but not now. So you're continuing his dream to re-establish 11 Tang? Yi Mo said calmly. Dongfang Chong shook his head. No, I know I don't have the ability. You forced young master to have nowhere to go. He hates you but he knows he's no match for you. When the Duanheng formation activated, he went there to go to the small world immediately. You know you don't have that ability but you still want to trick the Ning family company. Yi Mo sneered, his tone was getting cold. Dongfang Chong said again, whether you believe it or not, I didn't plan to trick Shuyan, I love her and Fei Fei. Yi Mo snorted in contempt. Dongfang Chong continued, when the thing happened, Shi Tang Dongfang was gone. Even the young master can't change things, much less me. The people of the Dongfang family split off and each went their own path. The only one of direct lineage still staying here is me, Dongfang Yi. I've never wanted to rebuild Shi Tang. I, like brother Chong, just want the people of the Dongfang family to be able to eat and live happily. I know that no one of Shi Tang wants to rebuild it, they just want to live a happy and stable life. Dongfang Chong sighed. Brother Chong died at Luoyu but I knew his last wish. It was to rebuild Shi Tang but to let everyone in the Shi Tang village to be able to live a happy life. I succeeded his will and changed my name to Dongfang Chong to fulfill this goal. Dongfang Chong said dejectedly, a lot of money is needed to rebuild 11 Tang. But after the Dongfang family split, we have no wealth. I chose for a long time before choosing the Ning family corporation. After marrying Shuyan, I really did fall in love with her and I have no intentions of harming here. I was planning to bring her here. So you went to abduct your own daughter? Yi Mo sneered. Dongfang Chong shook his head. Other than Fei Fei, I have no other way to persuade Shuyan to come to Shi Tang. When they come to Shi Tang, I will let them live a happy life. Yi Mo shook his head speechlessly. You tricked and took the Ning family assets to build Shi Tang and you still expect Ning Shuyan to live a peaceful life with you? Did the Ning family get their wealth for free and they should give it to your Shi Tang? Shuyan has married me, her assets are my assets. What difference is there? Dongfang Chong rebuked. Since there's no difference, why didn't you tell her? Instead you this low mean to take it. That 11 Tang corporation is just an empty shell too, right? Yi Mo said coldly. Dongfang Chong rebuked. I was afraid she wouldn't agree and that would affect our relationship. Yi Mo couldn't be bothered talking anymore. He slapped Dongfang Chong's head with cultivation essence giant hand. He wasn't killing him, he wanted to see where this Shi Tang was. But then, Yi Mo was speechless. This village had moved to Vietnam and there was less than 200 of them. They wanted to live a good life after stealing the fortune. But he was being genuine about helping his people escape poverty. Without the 3 Dongfang brothers, Shi Tang village had fallen to such an extent. Yi Mo knew that from now on, 11 Tang would be history. Yi Mo killed the rest except for Dongfang Yi. He still had some things for him to do. The second day, Dongfang Chong suddenly had a press conference saying that he discovered his conscientious. He was of the Shi Tang Corporation but he played dead and went into the Ning family to steal their fortune. As for the bioelectronics, it was bullshit. With this, everyone was shocked out of their eyeballs. The most absurd thing was that after making this news press, Dongfang Chong jumped off a building ending his life in front of everyone. No one believed Dongfang Chong found his conscientious but this really did happen. Why is it like this? Ning Siswang looked at the news report in disbelief. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.